Hello, Chit. How are you? How are you doing? Welcome to the Hikikomori Cool Stream. The Hikikomori Cool Stream on this lovely Tuesday. The snow is melted, and I can go outside again. But here I am, not outside. I'm here. I'm a rebel. I'm rebelling against the world, okay? I'm rebelling against the world. I'm here on the Cool Stream. And like a rebel, I'm going to request one meager request. I need you to post some fucking swearies in chat. Swearies in chat. Post swearies in chat. I won't hear any excuses this time. Swearies in chat and we will begin. I need to see one hashtag drinking in chat before we begin. I will also accept the brand new emote that I just created, :smile:. There's also, I think it's :sweary, or it's :65. Either one. I see it. I see one. We can begin. We got a Francis York Morgan in chat. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone else, to today's cool stream. It's a cool stream. I just released a new video up on the channel. Did you watch it? I know some of you did, so thank you so much for sharing that out. Thank you for leaving comments and thumbing it up and all that good stuff. That was like a small little project that I had. In the meantime, I'm working on smaller in-between videos. Not necessarily clickbaity, but just topics that are in between that I either couldn't put in a major video or just some observations I've been making on my own. Just random spells. I got struck by a spell. I got cursed with a thought, and I put it into a video. All right, Tuesday, February 23rd, 2021. Perfect day. Good year for another cool stream. Let's check out these buttons. You guys see that? Let me get up closer. Can you see those? That's right, Zach. We got the Raincoat Killer right there next to me. Got a new hair light up there. It may go out during the stream. It's battery operated. I don't have an AC adapter for my hair light, but I'm trying to get more professional lighting, okay? Who do we got in this chat? What kind of knuckleheads we got in chat today? I got chat pulled up in a separate window. Let me get that going. Oh my gosh. We got Sudas and Swearies. We got Francis York Morgans and Sudas. We got Sweary. York. It's a beautiful participation, chat. Thank you so much for being here with me. This is going to be a fun stream. It's going to be something. Let me give my shout outs. We got Gilbert just joined. Give me them badges. Thank you. Because of Gilbert, we unlocked one new badge today. I was mistaken. I misread YouTube's terms of service. I think it's for every 10, we get an additional emote. So Gilbert hit that threshold. So now we got some Francis York Morgan in there. The :smile:. So thank you, Gilbert, for that. I think it's every 10 we get a new emote. I'm always taking requests for emotes too, and I will design them and put them in. Who else? We got Sand Sense all the way from the Deutschland. Oh no, 5 FPS stamp collection stream incoming. Yeah, I got some feedback on that. Every time I cover Deadly Premonition 2, somebody's like, man, this makes me sick just looking at this. How did you play the entire game? How have you put 108 hours into this game? I don't know. I don't have a good reason for you. J-Spot, cool stream time. We got JG, Justin Romprey. We got Arctiman Silva. Oakland's in here. And we got the Pig Champ from Justin. Thank you. What else is on the agenda today? So I did plug, I've got a new video out, Deadly Premonition 2, specific to the stamp collection. This is what you're seeing here in this background. I'll bump up the volume just a smidge, a skosh. I'll show you my stamp books. So I showed two stamp books in that video. One of which was my co-writer Myrk, who might be in here. Myrk wrote an amazing stamp guide. Just phenomenal work. And he sent me some video clips of his stamp book. So he's at the 399 stamp gate. Currently, I'm 180 out of 400. And even getting that far is quite a feat. I'm 110 hours into the game. Beating it, I got to beat it a couple more times to do some like hidden boss fights. But let me go over some of the stuff we have available to us. we can hunt some wild pack of family dogs. I've got 353 out of 750 dogs, so I'm probably not gonna kill all those dogs in one stream. But what I can do is hunt down the pink dogs. I'm almost at 60. Every 40 stamps you get, you unlock a new suit. So my goal is to at least unlock one more suit for this stream. We got a bunch of squirrels. I could probably hit up the blue squirrels. I'm almost to the 61. I know where they're at. Killer bees, alligators, white alligators, and then we got the red shadows. I'm almost at the I think it's what the fuck? Look at this. Hold up. Is Mark in here? Mark, look at this. So Panelones are one of the red shadow variants. I believe there are 4 red shadow variants. And I got the stamp for defeating 180 Panelones, but I didn't get the stamp for 120. What? How did I kill 180 but not 120 Panelones? I got the Colombianas, and then there's just a general red shadows thing. If I'm going to be hunting red shadows, I'll probably go to a singularity, because if you hunt them in town, the frame rate just drops so far down below. Let's see. This is worse than Nier material grinding. Yes, much worse than material grinding in Nier. At least Nier had phenomenal music and stuff. Well, this has all right music. The guy who did the Trace Memory and Another Code R produced this soundtrack, so it is pretty good. I've got, certain boss fights. I don't want to spoil that, but like there's conditions going back and fighting the bosses. When you're dead drunk, fight a boss while you're dead drunk and kill them, or kill them under this time limit. So there's boss related stamps. Sharpshooter, I think, is when you do your charge shot. Survival bonus, I'm not sure. Dual kill, 2 enemies in 1. Stench Hunter. Stench Hunter is whenever York has maximum body odor. His BO is insane, and he's got flies all around him. And you have to kill things while he's super stinky. So apparently, I've only done Stench Hunter 10 times, so I can probably get stinky in this run. We're going to be smoking a lot of cigarettes, sleeping out in the parks, catching colds, maybe getting drunk, getting stinky. It's going to be wild. I just want to remind you guys. That's right. Leave that like. Now get out of here. Get out of my face. Thank you so much for leaving a like, for joining the members, for supporting me on Patreon, for giving me all that money I spend on all this good lighting, these cool jackets, enamel pins. You're funding this. All right. We got Mark Rosado. Oh, we got Ray Cortex. What up, man? Tried intermittent fasting. It works. It works. I did keto for a while. Keto is rough. It's a challenge. But I did it for about 6 months. Lost some weight. Intermittent fasting's good because it gets you in that mindset of, let me just eat during this time and then just cut off. No snacking after, before. It's good. Skip that breakfast. Get into it. More manageable. I think intermittent fasting is more manageable. Yeah, I don't know. 180 is less than 120, dude. All right, what else we got? There's UFOs, which are these tiny little UFOs up in the sky. There's 3 different tiers. I could do that. That would be kind of boring, though. Excessive force is when you attack one of the civilians. Breach of contract is whenever you shoot Patty or hurt Patty. I've already done all that. It's expensive, too. You have to pay money every time you do that. Medical emergencies, like when you save yourself from almost dying. Hunger, of course, is you just get really, really hungry, like in the critical, then you eat something. So that takes a while. Anyway, I'll just kind of going over just a broad sweep here. A lot of these are like, pick up 300 items from the ground, 1,500 items from the ground. Doesn't seem like a lot, but it is a lot. Using the knife, I can do some knife stuff. And I'll explain it anyway. So that's kind of where I'm at in my stamp book. I got a long while. There's a reason why I want to do this. I'll show you York here. Look at that. So far, this is my favorite suit that I've unlocked. He's got his little VTuber necktie there. I think that says DP2 on it. Got the lipstick on there. Also, right up here, I think it's like ever so often you get a new poster. I forgot to point that out, but that one's 60. I've stayed at the hotel for at least 60 days, so they put up that. I don't know what happens whenever you stay the full 365, so yeah, we're just going to go out and cause some shenanigans. I really don't have any particular stamps I'm going for. I'll just kind of explain things as we go along. So yes, welcome to the cool stream. I'm very, very excited. I haven't had a chance to play DP2. It's not the most visually appealing game in any stretch. It's aliased. The frames drop. It's the draw distance is terrible. Texture pop in all the time. The wildly inconsistent performance. Wildly inconsistent AI. Oh my gosh! We got a $15 super chat. Massive dono. Thank you, Justin Rompery. $15. Let's start this stream off strong. $1 per frame. Big ups, G. Nice. Thank you so much, Justin Rompery. Likes for that. Big likes. Big. Look how big my thumb is. Look at that. Biggest likes. We're going to take up that whole frame. Nice. Thank you. Yes! Justin is very optimistic with those frames. He is. So yeah, this is... Here's something. You want to hear some stuff that I deal with? We're going to get into story time real quick, because I'm all pumped full of that super chat juice. I'm pumped. This is the shit I deal with when I make videos, when I'm critical of something. Deadly Premonition 2, my video was a very bittersweet affair for me, because I wanted to love it. It's a game that I'd been... Like, there's nothing in this world that I've been more excited for, besides going to Japan, than Deadly Premonition 2. It's something that I thought was impossible. And when it was announced, that's all that was on my mind the entire time. So then I had people come in thinking that I was just deliberately trashing Deadly Premonition 2 by being honest about all of its warts. Right? And then when my video came out, I think it was like patch 1.03, the frame rate patch. And everyone on the GameFAQs boards and Reddit.com, oh, they fixed the frame rate. The frame rate's so good, it's playable now. Actually playable. And at that time, I was still making my video. So I captured footage and I showed off the frame rate. And it's still very choppy. Still very unacceptable, I would say. For a $40 game, right? For a $40 game when the original game was $20 and it ran at a consistent 30 frames. This one can barely do it. So anyone out there who was giving me all that shit about the frame rate, like, what is going on in your mind where you think this is acceptable? Look at this. Why? Why would I lie about this? I want Swery to succeed. I want the game to be in the best possible state. I want more people to play it. I'm not a gatekeeper. I want more people into this franchise so we can have sequels. That's the point. I gotta be honest up front. If I just gave this game a pass, not only does it damage my own credibility as a professional game pro reviewer. I'm a professional. It would damage that credibility, okay? Gamergate would be after me in a heartbeat. I can't have that. But do you understand that if you start giving this a pass or you start rewriting history, that's what pissed me off the most, is all these like revisionists, these Deadly Premonition. It was always bad. It was always janky. It always played like crap. Not true. Not true whatsoever. The original Deadly Premonition, I detailed it. I did my due diligence. It didn't play badly. The original one was just fine. But the moment you know who stepped in, the moment you know who stepped in, the reputation was tanked. And now people, I hate the apologists. I hate people that excuse a lesser product because it has a lower budget, or people that like, oh, it's fine. I've never had this problem. Those are the worst. Like when you buy a new game and there's some massive glitch. Like for me, it was the soft locking. The soft locking happened all the time. I'd be doing a quest line that would take hours to do. I'd be doing a quest line. The game would soft lock. Wouldn't save my progress. Then you get those apologists come, didn't happen to me. Didn't happen to me, therefore never happened. I have the video footage. I showed it off. I showed it in great detail. In fact, I showed almost 10 examples of that problem happening. I posted about it. I'm just making it up. It's all a lie. I can't deal with that. It just bugs me. Don't apologize for your game, because here's the thing. When you start glossing over its warts and its flaws, when you start apologizing for stuff, then you are lowering the expectations for your franchise. You're expecting, I don't know. You're essentially saying that it's okay to have a lesser product in the end, and you're damaging your own franchise. I said this once, I said this again. If you're not expecting the best for your favorite franchise, and you wonder why it dies, and you wonder why, like, nobody in the mainstream, like, they look at Deadly Premonition like it's a joke. And that's what really makes me upset, is that the original Deadly Premonition had a good balance between surrealism, graphic thriller, comedy. It had a fine balance in tone. Like, it could be funny and weird, but it also had some very serious and downright creepy moments in it. And because some people just like, this is what happened. This is what really pissed me off, right? So the moment I released my first Swery files, the Deadly Premonition retrospective, talking about how the ports had done so much damage to this franchise, right? Not even 3 months later, some ironic bro comes out there and releases this, did you know that Deadly Premonition is bad game? Did you know it bad game, and it's awful and it's terrible? And they just release memes and like react, like those you know what I'm talking about, like those cringe reaction emojis. Like, it's a narrator, they got an animated narrator who makes just cringe and Pepe emojis, just makes a whole bunch of trash Just absolute garbage, continuing on with this narrative that Deadly Premonition's a bad game. And then there's people out there like Whitney, the owner of Welcome to Greenville, who has like done so much work to show Deadly Premonition in the correct light, show like all the nuance, show all the game's mechanics, like actually put real hours and work into preserving all the history behind it. And then there's somebody out there who just releases the most low effort, oh, did you know Deadly Premonition weird? Did you know it cringe? It just irks me. And now there's like a whole league, a whole ocean of Reddit.com that is leaked upon Deadly Premonition, that's flanderized York, that's removed any sort of serious tone or anything that would challenge the status quo and allow it to have any weight or meaning to any of the choices within the game. So like now there's people tweeting at Swery nonstop telling him how his game should be written, what content he's allowed to have in it, what should be in there, what should be patched out, not letting him have ownership over his own work, just constantly calling him a hack and all this and that. And he tried to make this game for you. He was catering this game specifically towards Reddit.com, okay? He was taking all the ironic, the Guinness World Record, the most polarizing game. He was going with that angle. He was deliberately trying to make Deadly Premonition 2 play into the Let's Player generation, okay? He just amped up all the movie references and all the weird quirks of York. Didn't put really any graphic violence or sexual content within the game. The mystery is spelled out for you from the get-go. He incorporated Xenoblade Chronicles, collectathons, and all this shit for you. He did that for you. He thought you would be happy, but you're never happy. And now he had to go back in his hidey hole and just hand off Deadly Premonition 2 to Toy Box. Let somebody else deal with it. Like it's an object of shame. So if we end up with Deadly Premonition 3, and it's even more lackluster, if it ends up even more collectathon and inoffensive and just a PBS after-school special level of violence and graphic content and pushing real issues, like exploring real issues instead of just broad strokes, We're in the Deep South. We're going to just broadly stroke over racism or any sort of segregation, or like, we're just going to do just a broad stroke, a broad overview, okay? We're not going to have actual moments of emotion. We're not going to have moments of real impact within the game. We're just going to make just happy platitudes that are just so friendly and inviting to everyone. When you try to please everyone, you please no one. And that is Deadly Premonition 2. I said it in my video. Truth hurts. Truth hurts. If you want a watered down experience without any real feeling behind it, that pushes zero boundaries, okay? All the boundaries it pushed were incidental, accidental, okay? But really, they aren't all that bad in the first place. I think the most graphic thing that happens to anyone in here is one of the antagonists, because they were everyone was trying to paint it as one particular antagonist. It was just one antagonist, the main villain. They weren't the main villain. There were multiple villains in this game. There were like 5 or 6 villains in this game. Wasn't just one. But the narrative is, it's just one particular villain. He did it again. It's another Thomas moment. That's not true. It's objectively not true. There were multiple villains in Deadly Premonition 2. If you didn't pay attention. And they were all influenced by the same... I'm not going to spoil it all. But they were all influenced by one guy. They were all puppets by this one guy. You would know that if you played the game. You didn't play the game, and I don't blame you, because it's a really tough game to get into. Like, if you don't have a high tolerance for terrible performance and stuff like that, I can see how you would just watch a Let's Play. I can see how you would just watch your friend's video and then lead this narrative and paint Swery as some sort of villain when he's not. He's the most kind-hearted soul on the internet. All the levels and degrees of shit Swery has gotten in the past year is totally unwarranted. And also brushed over. People forgot about that shit and they just moved on. Guess it wasn't that important of a controversy. Guess it wasn't. So here we are, once again in shit world. And this is what we're left with. Waiting for one more patch so we can finally 100% this game. That pretty much everyone else but the diehard fans have abandoned. Pretty much everyone else but my friend Myrk and the Deadly Premonition hardcore players have abandoned. We're still here for you. We still want you to get better. We still want another Deadly Premonition. But you can't just... I'm sorry, but you just can't appeal to everyone. You need to have... Like, Swery is best when he wasn't giving a shit. When he didn't know about the internet and he didn't know about Twitter. Okay? When he wasn't afraid to express himself and his vision. Unapologetically. That's what happens in fiction. Okay? That's how it should be. Do not just complete... Like, and he already made such a sanitized product. Deadly Premonition 2 is such a stark contrast from the first one. And that's because the majority of people did not even play the first Deadly Premonition. They watched a stupid-ass Let's Play on it and thought that all the joke moments or all the Let's Players, that was the game. They didn't read between the lines. And people are nowadays incapable of doing such a thing because they need everything spelled out for them. They never took an analysis course in high school in their entire lives or college or anything, okay? They didn't read between the lines. They didn't see the heart in the middle. So I'm sick of it, quite frankly. I think he needs to just say fuck it and just go for it. Make the most exploitative graphic horror that pushes all the envelopes, not just one, but all of them. Just go for it. Offend everyone. It should be his next goal. Make one last Hail Mary. Go out in a blaze of glory. Because having this PBS after-school Mr. Rogers Deadly Premonition is definitely not the angle he should have gone with. Being self-deprecating, being ironic, trying to make... I don't know, lean too far into the comedy. When you lean too far in either direction, you can't grasp the drama. And that's what was missing from this one. Anyway, that was my rant on Deadly Premonition 2. I think it was definitely misjudged in the wrong areas where people should have been fighting. They should have been fighting for the performance and fighting for him to make you feel something. Even if it's anger. Even if you're angry at Swery, he needs to make you feel something. Okay? And DP2 made me feel a lot of confusion. That's what it made me feel. It made me feel confused on like, where does he go from here? Okay? Where does he go from here? Because the good life is more in this direction, if you look at it. Okay? The good life is... going to be just a walk through 1,000 game mechanics at one time, all running in tandem on what if it comes out on the Switch? The Unity engine is just not capable of operating his grandiose vision, okay? He needs a bigger team of developers to actually iron out these concepts, okay? Because having a game where I need to fight thousands of animals, I need to shoot all this random stuff. Like, this is worse than any Rare Nintendo 64 game. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Rare back in its heyday, whenever Rare like made you collect all the musical notes and collect all the Jinjos and collect all the different fruits in Donkey Kong 64. If you want to get the true 100%, this is like all of those early 64 games combined. It is the most ridiculous... Only 2 people in the world are ever going to get 100% completion. It's going to be Whitney and it's going to be Myrk. Those are the 2 people that are ever going to get the purple suit, okay? I would be so lucky to make it that far in the game. Anyway. You leave that thumb. You leave that thumb for that DP2 rant. Nobody else is going to tell you the truth. I think, as I said, you can't just pass it off like this. I mean, if this was a homework project, right, and you were given 2 years of development time to work on this, 2 years to turn in this project, it would be a C- at best, because there's some great things in this game that kind of elevate it. The music, for example, the location. I do like Lucare, but it's so static. The only thing that changes in Lucare is the day and night cycle. There's no weather. And it's a very, as I mentioned in my video, Hurricane Katrina is such a huge component in this story. It affects everything in this story. And I don't know. You don't see any rainy weather. You don't see any bleakness or any big surprises. It just kind of feels more mission centric, like go here, trigger this flag, go here, trigger that flag. And I think the original Deadly Premonition was more freewheeling and loose. That's what I liked about it. It's like it defied so many game conventions, and it almost felt like a parody of some more of the mainstream ones like Resident Evil, that you just never knew what to expect. And that's what made it memorable. Like, oh, it's this funny game with this guy who takes coffee fortune telling. Like he drinks all out of this fortune telling coffee, and he's got a weird goofy smile, and it's a weird homage to Twin Peaks. It's all these different things. It just feels abnormal is the best way I could say about it. It's abnormal, but in the way it just like it affects you on a deeper level that you just cannot get it out of your head. And after I made my video on DP2, I just kind of dumped everything I knew about it for a while. Like I just recently got back into playing it, and there's just so many, I don't know, plots and subplots that go nowhere, that they rush you through, that things are just, there's no sense of unity within this world, I will say. The citizens of Greenvale all came together. It had that quintessential small town vibe, and this feels more like a suburban vibe, if you will, where everyone just kind of goes about their own business. They don't really have a big impact on the story. It's very, very obvious whodunit. The most obvious whodunit mystery, and I just can't believe it. It just hurts me on the inside to say like how half-assed some of this game feels. And it definitely, if they do a director's cut, like it can't be like the PS3 Deadly Premonition director's cut. You just can't have that garbage again, like where it's worse all around. If he does do a director's cut, he just needs to flesh it out. Like there needs to be a whole nother act in this game to make it worthwhile, I think. There's one character in particular that I pointed out in my video. They do a lot of work building them up to be kind of a second raincoat killer, but you don't see them running around town. You don't see them having any impact on any of the citizens like the Raincoat Killer. There's no lore behind them. There's not even a boss fight with them. And that's the saddest thing too, is that they tease so many boss fights that just never happen. And the boss fights in this game are just embarrassingly easy. Like very, very easy. You just charge shot and unleash. That's it. Every boss fight pretty much has the same strategy applied. And I felt that the first Deadly Premonition had some pretty good boss fights in memorable locations. Like the last act of Deadly Premonition 1 is one of my favorites of all time. Like it's such a big reward. If you play through DP1, you are treated. I will say treated for your hard work. Okay? I don't feel that way about a lot of games, but DP1 just for a $20 game. You guys forget about this, but that game was $20. It was a value title. Okay? The first one. Not all the other releases, but the first one. And it just blew my mind. It did things that AAA games wouldn't have the guts to do. Okay? And I feel that this game, being double the price, $40, just put on kitty gloves, okay? Your audience, the audience for Deadly Premonition 2 is a bunch of disenfranchised millennials and very young Zoomer Reddit Zoomers, I should say. We can handle a dark story. Take us down some dark suburban horror. Okay, because David Lynch does that. That's what Swery does, like to ape David Lynch a lot, right? So take it. Show us the dark side of the suburbs. Show us the dark undercurrent of Americana. And I felt he wanted to, because there's some lines in there where Melvin, the sheriff, talks about how he encountered racism within Lucare, and he's in the Deep South, right? But everyone's just friendly to Melvin. Like, everyone's friendly to him. It just seems like Melvin was complaining about it, but they showed no examples of it. And there's another character as well that says they deal with prejudice, but there's really no antagonist that would, I don't know, demonstrate that there's real horrors. Like, racism and other things are real horrors that went on in the Deep South. And that's a great angle you could play with when you're making a game that takes place in Louisiana. And I think like True Detective, obviously, like the biggest inspiration, played with a lot of that stuff too. Very corrupt governments and secret societies, and like True Detective Season 3 touched on racism, and there's a lot of real. I think horror is most effective whenever it taps into something real and genuine. And DP2 doesn't. Like, it talks about it. Like, it wants to play ball. It wants to have its cake. Basically, what I'm saying is it wants to have its cake and eat it too. It wants to, like, make commentary on those subjects, but it doesn't know how to do it, I feel. And maybe that's the problem of the medium. Like, video games haven't really grown as a medium to where it can. But I gotta say, like, if you want to play in the big leagues, if you want to pull off like a Stephen King horror, sometimes you got to go down like very disturbing routes, and you can't dodge them. Like, they're a fact of life. There are things in there, horrific things that you see on a day-to-day. Like, I've seen so much fucked up shit in my lifetime. Okay, I could write days after days about the weirdos and creeps and monsters that I've encountered in my day-to-day life. Horrific people. Okay, and I know Swery knows how to write them. The main antagonist in Deadly Premonition 1 is one of the most fucked up individuals in any video game. Any video game. The original Deadly Premonition, when it's revealed who done it and all the shit he was orchestrating in the background, the cults, the cults, the Red Seed ritual and all that stuff. Like, I was sick to my stomach. Okay? I was reeling over. Here, it just didn't. They just didn't go anywhere. And I said as much in my Medium review too. It's just, they want to be like the big dogs. They want to be the next Silent Hill. Think about it. Okay, get this. Hold on, let me get a drink here. This rant is gonna blow your minds. Let me read some chat. I got a follow-up rant. We're gonna go even crazier here. We are in the Deep South. Centuries down. Let me get a baseline. I'm kind of doing some hunting stuff. I'll tell you what. I'm gonna get York really stinky. I'm gonna read some chat, and then I'm gonna go into my follow-up rant here. Because everyone, like, don't get it twisted. I don't think you necessarily have to be completely edgy to be successful in horror or be a successful thriller, but you got to have something. You got to take your audience to a place where they don't want to go. Okay? When you're in horror, when you're dealing with sensitive topics, you got to push an element which taps into somebody's sensitivities and offends them on some level, okay? Be it a terror, you shocked them, you showed them something disturbing by something that was said or implied within it. This doesn't have that same level, that same impact, that same punch to it. And, I'm not arguing for just being deliberately offensive or what have you, like going out there just, does this shock you? Like going out there like Michael Richards or something, that's the extreme degree. No, what I'm saying is if you want to have a thriller, a psychological thriller, you got to get into people's heads. You got to take them out of reality, or at least introduce them to the horrors of true reality. And make them face it. And I just don't think Deadly Premonition 2 had the courage to do it. And some people like that. They just want to live. That's okay. Just, I want to be in my happy place. Let me be in my happy place. Let me just give me all the memes. Feed me memes. Feed me memes. Feed me upvotes. That's where I want to be from now until I die. Don't make me question the morality of the characters before me. Don't put me in an uncomfortable situation. Is that what you want out of your media? Just Star Wars? Do you want Star Wars forever? I just want Disney take the wheel. Disney take the wheel. I'll just buy the Funko Pops later. Okay? I will be ultimate consumer. I will wear all brand shirts. Give me brand. Okay? The only brand I'm loyal to is Boss motherfucking Coffee right here. We're going to crack that open. I got to get some cigarettes. We're going to be smoking cigarettes. We're getting dirty for this next rant. Okay? I've been waiting to say so much about Deadly Premonition 2 that I could not capture. I thought on this for such a long time. And it's a trend that I'm seeing in so many video games. Okay? So many video games are following this Disneyfication when it doesn't need to be. Doesn't need to be this way. We're adults. We can have dark stories. We're capable. The human brain is capable of separating fiction from reality. I hope. I hope. All right. Do you know if Clive Barker put out some of the most disturbing horror and fiction, all based on his real experiences in the S&M scene. Leather clubs, torture, like areas where they would hang people on hooks, okay? Where they would pierce things that aren't meant to be pierced. He went to the deepest, seediest leather clubs, and he expressed that horror, like his world around him. Going through like gay S&M, what do they call that? Sadomasochist clubs. He went through that whole scene. That was his lived experience. And then he releases the Hellraiser, the Hellbound Heart. He releases all the most disturbing horror the world has ever seen based on what he saw before him. Go and watch the first two Hellraiser movie and tell me you don't cringe or wince. Now imagine he released that in the modern day. How much backlash he would be met with. Clive Barker, okay? Even modern horror just doesn't have that kind of guts, that kind of boldness in it, right? Everything's a ghost. Everything is paranormal activity. Look at that door just moved by itself. The wind came by. I'm so scared. Jump scare. Slender Man, he's around the corner. Don't look at him. It's so cheap and unfulfilling, modern horror. Okay? That's why, like, whenever there's a diamond in the rough, whenever something unique comes out, it's like a big treat. The 80s, the 90s was filled with beautiful horror. It took us through like so many different avenues of terror based on reality, based on things the author had seen lived experience. And something's been given up. Something has been given up in this futile pursuit to not disturb anyone. And I just can't agree with that. Go for it. Go for the guts. Go for the glory. Don't give me this half-ass PG-13 shit. Okay. We got some cigarettes. Okay. Let me read some. let me go. God, this chat has been insane. Thank you so much for the support. Don't you forget. Don't you forget. Okay, let's say. I'm way behind on chat. I'm sorry, chat. Ray Cortex, why does Swery even hire Toy Box? I don't know. They're the cheapest. They're the only ones who said yes, is what I presume. Eric Livia says, this guy's passion for Swery is contagious. I gotta say, I love Swery. I want the best. I want the best for this franchise. But you can't do it. You can, as I said, when you try to play the road to hell is paved with good intentions. And that's exactly what happened to Swery with Deadly Premonition 2. You try to please everyone, you please no one. That's just how it goes, my friends. Horror is the most experimental and inventive genre out there. The best stories told, the ones that you remember the most, are the times where you were afraid and your protagonist found their way out of it, or something disturbing happened and you bore witness to it. And that stuck with you for the rest of your life. And I will get to that point. I will clarify that point very soon. Santi Puri, hi Hikiko, I have only one question. Why are you playing this? I don't know. I just wanted to follow up my previous video. Released a new video. It's on the channel. Go check it out. What's up, Spencer? Mr. T's in here. I pity the fool. I think The Good Life will be the true successor to Deadly Premonition in terms of tone and ambition. Maybe in terms of ambition, I think it's what Swery had in his head originally, like for the Rainy Woods concept. But it remains to be seen. Like, it's just seen a lot of screenshots, seen a lot of video of the development, but it's been very silent for a while. So I sure hope. I am a backer. I am supporting it. So it's been a while. Saying, and since we need more games with balls, we sure do. Balls and vagines. All of it. Caption Panic 98, is there a specific Let's Play you're talking about? All of them. Any Let's Play about Deadly Premonition, they all go down the same route. All of them end with I can't enjoy this. I have to enjoy this ironically, or people will think lesser of me. That is every Deadly Premonition Let's Play. Yes, thank you. Boris is in here. What's up, Boris? Been a while. Anthony Birch Fan Club, the president and only member, is here. Sense of unity, though, says Justin. Ben Hillman. Indie games have such an expectation of polish now, not to be overly nostalgic, but people used to be happy with loads of great ideas crammed into flawed games held together with spaghetti code. In my opinion, the common thread of appeal between a lot of games are the popular for video essays. Silent Hill, DP, Resident Evil is their obsessive fascination of Americana through a Japanese lens. Yeah, and Swery is a world traveler. He's come to America so many times. So a lot of that is lived experience, but I think a lot of it is also misguided. We'll put it that way. Dude, you're just not a real fan, says Muhammad. Muhammad's got my number. Human Tofu. Gonna shield channels like Spooky Rice or Cinema's Underbelly, channels that cover more movies that push boundaries. I'll check those out. Thank you. The rant's going places. Oakland says Jacob's Ladder is an example of horror masterpiece. I think visually Jacob's Ladder is a horror masterpiece. I feel that Jacob's Ladder is also kind of another... Whenever it goes for like that Vietnam drama, I think the Vietnam portions of Jacob's Ladder are the worst portions of it. Even though that's kind of the point. How Jacob was faced with all like that. He felt like a fish out of water and is uncomfortable in his own skin when he returned home. But I think visually Jacob's Ladder is very interesting. There's a lot of slow parts to it though. Hell yeah, Delta says, let's make people's stomachs turn. That's right. Oakland says, I had Boss Coffee's energy drink, Iron Boss. If I find that, I'm getting that. Boss Coffee is the boss. I think The Shining is still very effective, yes, without being overly gruesome. It's pretty gruesome. Scatman Carruthers getting an axe to the chest, the bloody elevator, the room, what is it? Is it 317? Whenever the lady comes out, I'd say it's pretty gruesome. It's not as gruesome though. I don't know why it is, but I found Full Metal Jacket to be Stanley Kubrick's most gruesome movie. I sat down and rewatched that the other day. Oh God, Full Metal Jacket is such a ride. I feel it's half of a phenomenal movie, and then it just goes into another half of a war drama that's just kind of good. But we're gonna get York stinky and dirty. So how you do that is you unlock a flashlight and a knife in Deadly Premonition 2. Like, you have to do all these side quests to unlock the flashlight. The flashlight allows you to search sewers and dirt mounds, and the knife allows you to open mailboxes and dumpsters that are rusted shut. And doing that gets him dirty. So I've got to get him dirty, I got to get him stinky, and then we're going to do some stink hunting. And if I see UFOs and other things along the way, I'll do that too. We're about to hit midnight pretty soon. You can see like the redness are coming. When it hits, I think it's 0 hours. That's when all the red shadows come out. Hereditary is great. I think some of the most disturbing movies, though, are by, Robert Eggers? Is it Robert Eggers, the guy who made The Vitch and The Lighthouse? Those movies are just kind of an existential horror. Just the oppressiveness of nature, old naturalist kind of horrors, and like how the mind eats itself because of the cruelty or unforgiving nature of things. And those disturb me on another level. Midsummer was pretty good too. Yeah, easy $100 for every flashlight and knife too. So you want to go out of your way. This is something you'll probably never discover. I would say 90% of players of Deadly Premonition 2 won't discover the knife, won't discover the flashlight, will run out of money, will be constantly broke. They're essential for the post-game stuff. Post-game's like a whole nother can of worms, man. It's like a whole nother affair. Andrew Erickson says, big Mike fan. Yeah. Mike is over the top. Like, I would compare Suda 51, and I think I've done it before, to Takeshi Miike. And Mike, you go into it, like, as I said, like, that's another stylistic difference between Japanese horror directors and gore directors and American ones. There are still some American directors in terms of horror, but the gory films, the B movies and stuff, the drive-in classics aren't typically the mainstream hits, okay? There's always something sanitized or campy or Disney. There's always a Disneyfication to some sort of horror that breaks into the mainstream, like it. It is more. It feels more like an episode of Goosebumps or Are You Afraid of the Dark than it feels like true to the novel. And I can say there aren't too many Stephen King adaptations that have a good film adaptation, I should say. Some of the best ones are when the directors do their own things. Like I think Maximum Overdrive is a pretty phenomenal phenomenal adaptation, just because they just decided to go completely camp and completely destruction derby and explosions and silly. And the AC/DC soundtrack also helps there. But I also feel that The Shining is still one of the greatest horror movies of all time, because Kubrick didn't listen to Kubrick or King. Like Doctor Sleep, while I enjoyed Doctor Sleep somewhat, it wasn't thrilling until they got to the Overlook Hotel. Like the antagonist in Doctor Sleep had zero things scary about them. They wore a silly hat and they had big boobs. Very hard to be scary when you wear a silly hat and have humongous boobs. Just my opinion, just my take on it. It remains to be seen for Resident Evil 8. Seems like Resident Evil 8's going for the silly hat and big boob strategy, and I sure hope it pays off, because Resident Evil 7 was one of my favorite horror games in some time. Like, I was so impressed with Resident Evil 7's willingness to be gory, to go for a Tobe Hooper movie, Texas Chainsaw Massacre vibe to it. I was jaw-droppingly impressed by Resident Evil 8. The DLC was also great on that too. But Resident Evil, like the franchise that went the safest route for a whole decade, had that Capcom treatment of let's milk this for what it's worth, had some guts and showed some of the most graphic and disturbing stuff in some time. Resident Evil, of all franchises, Resident Evil that has one of the worst, most bizarre sci-fi adaptations out there, that is nothing like the games, that has 4 animated movies, still going with that crappy Umbrella arc, ends up returning to form in such a unique way. And then like running 2 franchises at once. There's the remake franchise that's more survival. It's like a good blend of survival horror in Resident Evil 4 style. So they have the remake franchise, which is impressively good. But then they also have their Grindhouse experimental series with Resident Evil 7 and 8. Like 8 seems to be more lycanthropy, going for werewolf and vampires and stuff. I like that angle too. So I am looking forward to, and then like big ogres and things like that. So Resident Evil 8's probably my most anticipated game, if we're going to be real. Maybe Hotel Barcelona. We're going to get all that money. We're going to get dirty. So, there we are. We got the seagull feather. You get materials, you get money, so I get that flashlighter bonus. So I get $100, I get a rare material, and a little bit more dirt added to York's clothing, little by little. I haven't checked out Petscop yet, Justin. Been a little busy lately. But good stuff nonetheless. Ooh, we got a rare alligator. We got 2 alligators. The white alligators. Albo gator. That's an albo gator. You guys ever seen Albino Alligator? It's a decent kind of heist movie. Very in the vein of Reservoir Dogs. Yeah, so I'm doing a little bit of everything. just trying to route. I don't have a, like, Mark has gotten this game down to a science, a very disturbing and accurate science, but I'm doing a little bit of every stamp, finding rare materials, finding rare hunts, trying to get stinky, trying to grow a beard. I may just do a thing like where I time travel. I think I'm going to do that right now, is where I time travel about 30 days to get the full beard and get max stink. So we're going to get stinky and have a good time. But thank you for being here. Yeah, Shannon mentioned a broken stamp. Let me show you. I got Mark in here. Mark wrote the guide for Deadly Premonition 2 stamps. He is the maddest guy of all time when it comes... Like, I think that Mark may be up there. Like, he's in the top 3 Deadly Premonition fan. I'm just a fake fan. But one of these stamps I have is broken. Maybe you might be able to clarify some things. It makes no sense. Okay, so right here, I've defeated... It's stamp 57. Defeat 30 Panelones, 70... I didn't get 120, but somehow I got 180 Panelones. I didn't pop the one for 120, but I popped the one for 180. So I don't know what's going on there. What did I think of House? I've seen the original House, and I think maybe James Rolfe had commented that it's just one of those good movies to have on in the background of a party. It just feels like a series of experiments all thrown together. Like a filmmaker just had ideas for shots and weird supernatural things and then just spliced it all together for the runtime. I don't think there's one solid through line to House, but I enjoyed it. There's another movie called House 2, from the 80s, which I also enjoy. I think the one you're talking about is Houseu. Houseu. I know there's a remake of Houseu, but I haven't seen it yet. So the 180 Panelonia stamps is for defeating lighter shades of the scissor guides, but not the others. So you have to defeat normal door enemies in the other world to track the lower ones. Okay. Well, I'm about to... trigger the Panelones to show up in the real world. So I'll hunt some of those. I'll do about 20 or 30 of those. I'll nap and then we'll get stinky. So I'm just kind of I could smoke a cigarette and we could get there faster. So let me hunt these dogs. We'll smoke a little heavy brand cigarette. Back to the Future reference, if you didn't know. Watch my sweary files.
Hey, Agent York.
Yeah, I feel I watched some Deadly Premonition 2 videos. A lot of them are on the shorter side, so they were easy watches. Some of the guys were just like, yeah, it has some charm. I really enjoy the chipper and upbeat nature of it, and that can win you over. Like, I gotta admit, I smiled when I heard Jeff Kramer come back. I was just so happy that he got Jeff Kramer back. He also got David Young's voice actor. I think his name's Ben something or other. He got Ben back in this, and Dan's Sweary's translator, one of Sweary's translators. Dan's in here, and he plays the UFO conspiracy guy, which I think is pretty funny. Because I at first I was like, man, where does that voice sound familiar? And then I was putting together my D4 video. I'm like, that's Dan's voice. So shout out to him for sure. But yeah, there's some great things in here. Just mostly, I think a lot of it though is Jeff Kramer carrying the weight of this game on his shoulders. If anything, like, York is just so damn likable that even though the game itself, like, they didn't put him in any major situation up until the end. And, like, I don't want to spoil everything. I'll just do some broad overviews about the end of this game. But the last act of of Deadly Premonition 2 just goes, it flies by so quickly, and there's so much things that just weren't either elaborated on. I don't know if it was a deliberate choice by Swery just not to elaborate on what's happening, or why the events unfolded as they did, and the meaning of things. I don't expect everything to be spelled out for me, but just do me a little bit of a favor to build it up, build up these dominoes in the beginning, build them up, build up to something so I can follow the trail. So here's a good way to grind. You can just hang out at one of these spots, and then the enemies, I don't think they can ever attack you directly in this circle. I'm not sure. Mark could probably clarify that for me, but you can just sit here all day and grind out these stamps. Throw on a podcast. Just turn your brain off. When you're grinding Deadly Premonition 2, portable mode is the best way to go for that. And the thing is, though, my Switch, there's a memory leak in this game that I still don't think's been addressed. But my Switch gets super hot. I would say after every 2 hours, I just reset my Switch just to be safe. I don't want to. I feel if anything's going to kill my Nintendo Switch, it's going to be Deadly Premonition 2. Toy box programming. Oh yeah, I think I did show this off in my video too. Is like you can just sit here and punch them out. They don't do shit. One thing Mark's guide points out about the post-game of Deadly Premonition 2 is all the enemies, like, they raise the HP and I think the damage output of all the enemies in the game, but they never tell you that they do that. It's just something you just naturally, like, oh, they take a couple more shots, but it's still not all that difficult, I would say. There we go. There we go. Pew pew. It's kind of a joke. Yeah, there's no really, I would say there's no major big boss or big challenge in any of the stuff in the game. A lot of the things that happen, a lot of the most difficult things that happen are cheap shots. When an enemy will paralyze you. That's probably the most annoying thing in this game is paralysis, because it takes forever for you to recover from it if you don't have a paralysis cure. So you can't fire. So you just have to wander around and wait. So status effects are the most annoying things. What's up? Yeah, shoutouts to Dan Luffy. Dan Luffy, if you don't know, is like Swery's, one of his translators. You always see him in one of Swery's videos. I talked to him once, a couple of times. He's so polite and very humble. And he's been a part of Swery's work for a while. I think he's done some motion capture for D4. He's done some voiceovers here and there. And he always, like when you watch a Q&A, that's the dude that's always kind of the English voice of Swery, if you will. So yeah, very, very friendly dude. And he's also in this game as well. He does a voiceover role. So I think he's involved in The Good Life in some degree. I don't really know, but shout out to him. Caption Panic 98, is this game Switch exclusive? Unfortunately. And I think that has a lot to do with it too, is like in some respects the Switch is fine. The Switch can run it. It can run the game in the other world at 60 frames, but it doesn't have to render an entire town and all the NPCs and all that stuff. So here in town, it hovers around 30, but it drops like insanely. There's so many people that I encounter. Maybe it's just my bias that making content on the internet or encountering people on GameFAQs and Reddit. It's just like one or two guys, but they're just so annoying about it. They're like, oh, it's fine. They fixed the frame rate. And because they're the first people out of the gate to say stuff like that, just the average passerby is like, oh, it must be fixed now. It's all fixed. It's not all fixed. It needs to be on other hardware. And I think if it, even on PS4, I think it has a better chance of running better. PS4 tends to handle the Unity engine better. Xbox would be a great place to play DP2. I would review it again. I would make a little video talking about it if it gets released. I'm afraid to say PC because the only good sweary game that got a good PC port is, this is what I'm talking about, this paralysis bullshit. That's another stamp too. The only good PC port is D4. D4 has a phenomenal PC port. So, yeah, that's the only sweary game I can really recommend on PC. Maybe The Missing. The Missing was good too. I don't want to gloss over that. The Missing was great. But, I don't know. Toybox just doesn't have the best track record when it comes to PC ports. So, if they could just put it out on PS4, put it out on Xbox One, that'd be great. Put it out on Vita. If you could just go ahead and develop this game for Vita, I would really appreciate that, bro. Thank you. Ben says, hold on, I'm behind. Sentry says, you can literally sit by the campfire, circle around, and just crank out a ton of stamps if you're stocked. Yeah. This is a good place to grind for him. I'm going to just burn through my bullets. Then I'm going to time travel and we're going to get stinky and beardy. I got to do 30 days of sleeping. 30 days to grow a full beard. If you guys didn't see my video, Mark detailed the insanity of the stamps in here. 30 days, then shave. 30 days, then shave. You got to do that until you hit 360. So then you can complete your beard stamps. Then like 5 more days and you complete your hotel stamps. Insanity. There's a rumor that it's getting ported to PC. Yeah. I tend not to run with rumors. I don't like to be that guy. There's so many fucking hacks out there that spin their entire content around rumors and they build false hope. And as a Silent Hill fan, can I say something? Can I go on a rant? As a Silent Hill fan, I'm sick of false hope. I've been let down so many times. And the Silent Hill community has been neglected badly it's already terrible alone that Konami is what it is right now. But to have all these people that come out and, I'm a trusted leaker. This guy's been on point and saying all this stuff. Just say, I don't know. Isn't it just easier to say, I don't know, or I hope so? Don't just stop making up all the bullshit. It's not helpful to anyone, right? Mark, I'm not saying you are, by the way. I just tend not to report on it personally. Look at this. She's just frozen there. I just tend not to report on it because I don't want to give anyone false hope. It's just terrible. I think it's better just to say nothing on it and just go, I don't know, I hope so. Because when you say you hope so, you don't cause any shit and you just show that you're optimistic in general because it just always backfires. I've seen it happen. The Silent Hill community will tell you this. Go on the Silent Hill Reddit and see how tired of that shit they are. Go in there and say, hey, I heard there's 3 Silent Hills in development. Did you know there's a visual novel and then there's a Telltale one and then Konami's making one and then they're handing off one to the developers of the medium. Is that what you really want? Do you want them taking it over? Listen, I'm kind of in the purist camp now. After all these rumors, I'm like, Team Silent or bust. Get the band back together or don't even bother. Just let it die. That's where I'm at right now. Just let it die. Let it go. We had a good run. We had at least 5 good Silent Hill games. Silent Hill 1 through 4 and Shattered Memories is pretty good. PT was an interesting experiment. Okay, and we had 1 good movie. I wouldn't say it's great. I'd say it's pretty good. Okay? Just give it up. Let it go. If it ever happens, I'm not. That's why I don't want to eat my words later on. I'm not going to make any like, oh, it'll never happen. Because time is always moving forward. You can't change the past, David. Time is always moving forward. Okay? Time is always moving forward. You never know what's going to happen. There may be a miracle we come out of this. But I would say the chances are very slim. Okay? Chances are very slim. I would say we would probably have a more successful chance at Konami licensing out a Silent Hill TV series like they did with Castlevania. And the Castlevania is pretty good. Pretty good. There's one scene in particular that I'm like, come on. Come on, dude. Come on, dude. I didn't need to see that. But beyond that, I'd say Silent Hill's or Castlevania's worth watching. I would say we have more of a successful opportunity at Silent Hill getting like a TV series, a Netflix show, than anything else. Maybe another comic book. Maybe even another movie before I would say a game itself. But that's just me. I have no more hope. As I said, I've given it all up. And some people they want to live in that delusion. So don't shake me out of my delusion. Don't wake me up from this restless dream. This restless dream. I dream of that place, Silent Hill. Yeah, well, there's a hole in this heart and it's not gone, okay? There's a hole here and it's not gone. You fucked me over too many times, Konami. I won't be fucked again. Ben says people are saying Yuzu's running this game better. I bet it doesn't take much. Not a high bar. Not a high bar. I know Didrik, when we first released the video, we had 3 people that helped us capture that segment. 3 different machines we tested out Yuzu on. I personally didn't run Yuzu. I left it to the experts, but I'm willing to try it again. But I just want to run it on the original hardware. I'm kind of like that guy. I like emulation. I'm a proponent, an enthusiast of emulation. But if I'm gonna go and bother and do all these stamps, I want to do it on legitimate hardware, so I can show people online. I want to show them online that I did it. I'm almost out of bullets, okay? Once I'm out of bullets, we're going to get stinky and dirty and then go shopping. I must go shopping. Let's see. I was saying, Caption says, I was saying to friends that I think No More Heroes should have been made for Xbox instead. I don't have super high hopes for No More Heroes 3 at the moment. I actually think No More Heroes 3 was one of the best in show for the Direct. But I agree. Japanese games always played better on Xbox. If my videos have taught you anything, the Japanese are the best at software, and I think the Americans are better at hardware. That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. I think the Japanese probably have better ideas for their hardware, but some of them fall into gamification, like Sony. Sony's like a big gimmick company. I'd say Nintendo can fall into it as well, but a lot of they follow through. I would say Nintendo has more follow through in their gimmicks. Sony just like, oh, Nintendo's doing something, let me go ahead and do that too, and then abandon it. Does anyone remember iPet or the Eye of Judgment? Did anyone ever play the Eye of Judgment? Yeah, And I'm a lifelong Sony fan. Don't you forget it. But, I think, okay, let me check my stamps real quick. Let's check in on the stamps. I think I don't know if I got the smoke 100 cigarettes. I'll do that real quick if I haven't. It's down here. Spend $5,000. Sell $1,500 worth. Order every item. Some of those are side quests. I'm getting closer. Oh, I'm 6 cigarettes away. So let's go ahead and smoke them if we got them. I don't even know if I have 6 of them there, but let's smoke them all. Smoke them up, Johnny. Yeah, I agree. I ignore rumors as well. Sanin says, I don't think the Switch is the problem with performance, but Unity. I've seen Unity games on PC and consoles that just run just as badly. Just inexperience with the engine. Yeah, I would say it's a little of column A, a little of column B. I would say I've seen a lot of bad Unity ports up on the Switch to say that it's not the hardware. I mean, it's an Android tablet. And I actually know a couple of Unity developers that still like develop for the Ouya. And they're able to make some good stuff out of that. But I would say think about how many instances are running in Deadly Premonition, right? Deadly Premonition 1. Think about how many different instances are running in different AI behavior, weather, like real-time weather, this whole beard growing mechanic, like all these little things running in the background, right? And Deadly Premonition 2 has even more of that. Now you're running it on the Unity engine. You're running it on the Nintendo Switch. So I think it's definitely the Unity engine. It's definitely experience. Definitely the hardware. I think it's just so many things going wrong. I just don't know that this game will ever be capable of running in 60 frames ever on the Switch at the very least. I think more resources to it can get it close. And I mean, putting it on PC, there's always the opportunity for open source development on there. There's always the possibility that somebody will fix the memory leak that's not employed at Toy Box. So there is that, but there's just so much going wrong. But when you're in the other world, just full 60 frames. I just don't know what to think. Okay, we're gonna just constantly sleep and get dirty. We're gonna get stinky. We're gonna get a beard. So let's start keeping track. I'm going to go buy some more cigarettes. I got to smoke more cigarettes. We're going to get the cigarette stamp. So, also suffering from lack of sleep is another one. And then sleeping. So cigarettes play into the lack of sleep. Camping is another one. Just, we're grinding through. So day after day after day. And Mark, if you're here, Mark, just if you see York's face, if you think I'm at a full beard, let me know. I may have to buy another sleeping bag because these sleeping bags break all the time. Oh, I think I just broke it. I may have one in my inventory, though. Isn't this surreal, though? Like, they can't attack you. They're just wandering around. But they're going to push me out of the circle. Oh, shit. They're going to push me out of the circle. Hold on. Let me knock them out. Snarf! Mr. Greedius, I have not seen Willy's Wonderland. There's a local theater in town that's playing it, but it's one of those risk deals. Do I go and see Willy's Wonderland and risk COVID and people going crazy at each other? I gotta be honest with you guys. I believe in COVID, but I just hate wearing masks. I haven't got my vaccine yet. My girlfriend's fully vaccinated, So she's safe. I am not in the... there's all these different degrees of what have you, like, oh, you got to be in this wave, right? I'm coming up. My city is rolling out more vaccines very soon. So I at least want to get one vaccine in me before I return to the movie theaters. But cases are going down. I was talking to my friend the other day. Like, I'm very optimistic that we're at the light at the end of the tunnel. We've already peaked, at least, I think, in America. So we're almost out of this shit, and that's wonderful. I want to be around people again. I want to see my homies. I want to make more wild, cool streams and content that's not just stuck in my office. That would be great. So, I may have to miss it in theaters. I heard Nicolas Cage is in that movie for maybe 20 minutes. And that's kind of like the Steven Seagal treatment, where Steven Seagal's on the front of the poster, but he's in the movie for maybe 10 minutes. So I may have to rent Willy's Wonderland. That may be a rental for me. Yeah, we're going to keep sleeping, getting stinky, getting a beard. I'm going to have to buy some more cigarettes, though, so I'm going to sleep for just a little bit in that. GG, is there an acceptable way to play DP1 if you don't own any Xbox systems? I still haven't played it. I heard that Zinnia, I showed that off in my video, Zinnia, some people are having success with it running better. There's been a recent update. So if you're willing to give that a shot, I'd recommend checking out Zinnia and trying to run it on your PC. I don't like any of the ports. People lie to you. People will lie to you just to be contrarian, okay? Oh, the DP Origins isn't that bad. It's fine that the game's missing a majority of its textures. It's fine that the game crashes all the time. You're just complaining for no reason. It's fine that it's missing a whole bunch of content, and it's a rare middle ground between the director's cut and the PC and the original. Like, it's fine that it's missing color. I can't even notice. I don't even notice that there's no contrast whatsoever and everything looks sharp and blown out. It's fine. I just don't listen to any of those a-holes that didn't do their due diligence, okay? There are so many apologists out there for the ports that it's sickening. It is absolutely disgusting, okay? If you can, hunt yourself down a $30 Xbox, okay? Save a little bit of money. I'm sure you can go on Facebook and go on OfferUp. Get yourself $30 together, put it together, and get yourself an original Xbox. Even somebody's going to throw away a CRT television, okay? Find a CRT television on the road. Get yourself a CRT. Get yourself a $30 Xbox that you had to bring back to life using the towel trick. Do that. Get yourself a copy of Deadly Premonition by any means necessary. Okay? By any means, the original one. And that experience will be 1,000 times better than the PC experience or Deadly Premonition Origins. You heard it here first. Don't listen to anyone else. Listen to me. Play the original. Understand it from that point of view. Fixed camera angles, over the shoulder. A real touch. There's a real touch to the level design and to the camera choices. Choices were made in the camera placement. Do that. Don't waste your money on all these $40. I would say, budget-wise, for $60, you can get an Xbox 360 and hunt you down a secondhand copy of Deadly Premonition all in once. Borrow 360. Borrow an Xbox One. Borrow one from a friend. They're not playing it. Guarantee you they're not playing their original Xbox Ones. Go do that. Super chat from make it a Mac tonight. 2Tim505. Did you see that Stubbs is coming back? I did see that. Thank you, 2Tim. Stubbs is coming back. I'm very happy that they were. There's a collector's edition of Stubbs that comes with a vinyl soundtrack. They got the original music, the original soundtrack for Stubbs. So you get the awesome music, and that soundtrack is phenomenal. I think the only thing that could have made that soundtrack any better is if they just put some Roy Orbison on there. Just a little bit of Roy Orbison, and it would be perfect. I think I just got hit by a car. That's perfect, though. I need to get hit by cars. I gotta hunt these UFOs. Like each UFO counts as like a silver, gold, and bronze. The gold ones are the highest ones up there. Easy way to get money. Easy way to get rare materials. And they're also a stamp. We're going to go buy some supplies. I need cigarettes, I need sleeping bags, and I need hot dogs. In that order. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for the super chats. Also, don't you forget, leave that thumb. Thumbs are free, and get out of my face. Thank you so much for being here. I didn't really have a major plan for the stream. I kind of wanted to promote my most recent video, The Mystery of the Purple Suit Mystery, whatever you want to call it. I hope that mystery will be solved. There's rumors, okay? I didn't want to bring this up in my video, but there is a rumor going around from a reliable first-hand source, or maybe second-hand. First or second-hand source, somebody that's fairly close to the development. I did not have their permission to say who it was, so I won't tell you who it was. But they said that they talked with somebody involved with the development, and there is another patch coming, but they don't have a solid date for it. So I didn't want to mention it in my video at the time. Probably shouldn't have mentioned it now, but I have it on good authority that they haven't forgotten about this game completely, even though it feels like they have. We're getting super dirty, by the way. Look at us right now. Look at York. We got a little bit of stink lines. Suit's getting a little haggard. We've got some 5 o'clock shadow. Okay, but we're not stinky enough. Also, these sewers right here, great way to grind. Flashlighter bonus. But you have to unlock the flashlight first. Thank you too, Tim, for that super chat. We got Hatagi in here. Take DP2 out of Toybox's hands. At this point, port it to the PC. Just let the fans do it. Just release the code. Release the entire code. Give it over to anyone else. Really, anyone else would be great. Look at the draw distance. Like, pay attention to those trees in the background. Watch how they pop all the time. There's checkerboard rendering too. Like, I don't know if it shows up on stream, but they do that checkerboard rendering to get it to 1080p. You're supposed to use checkerboard rendering for 4K. Like most games right now do, like the PS4 Pro does checkerboard rendering to like do a fake 4K. VR does a lot of checkerboard rendering, but no, this game does checkerboard rendering just to make it to 1080p. Look at the textures of the road on the ground. Like as York is moving, you see this little bubble surrounding him. Like it's only the textures are only at their max resolution and a tiny little bubble around York. And it just constantly renders as he skates along. It's depressing. So sad. Also, York is dying at the moment. He's getting constantly injured because he's hungry. He's tired. He's sleep. I think he's just hungry. I did buy some hot dogs. We'll buy some coffee. I gotta smoke more cigarettes. I'm almost at 100 cigarettes. Then I don't know if I'll cut it out, but see that medical emergency bonus is another thing. Health maintenance bonus. That's for eating the hot dog. So you just got to constantly do that. You got to get him hungry. You got to get him tired. You got to get him stinky and beardy and then shave that beard after 30 days. It's such a maddening maddening affair. Still quite a ways from a full beard. Yeah, I'm Mark. I'm gonna smoke some more cigarettes and pop that stamp once and for all, and then I will camp. I'll probably go back to the hotel because the hotel is a good place to. You can buy supplies there. You can clean up and do what you need to do. Andrew Erickson, oh my God. Thank you for that massive dono. $5. Hashtag increase the stink. Let's get stinky. Oh, yeah. I think I'm pretty close to a campsite. The campgrounds are so randomly placed. Thank you, Andrew. Massive dono. $5. I'm going to buy so many chicken sandwiches. And then I'm going to post a photo on my Instagram of me with a spread of sandwiches that I bought with all my ill-gotten gains. I hope you've enjoyed the cool stream thus far. I've had a good times. I like Deadly Premonition 2 has just been on my mind so much because it got neglected. I think the controversy was stupid. That's my opinion on it. It was stupid and it was cronyism. It was one person made a big stink about it, and then their best friend made a big stink about it, and then their legion of fans of the eCeleb harassed the developer because that's just a good way to get what you want. Just make the developer who is known for having depressive episodes and a problem with alcohol, let's just make them feel like dying. Let's just do that. That's the way to get what we want. It's so fucked up, man. It's a vicious cycle being a creator of any kind, having to deal with fan bases, man. And sometimes it's not even a fan base of your product. It's a fan base of e-celebrities out there. It's a fan base of e-celebrities that go out there and attack you and harass you and start like doing guilt by association and all that dumb shit. It's stupid. Just leave Swery alone. Leave him alone. Leave him alone. Leave Swery alone. All right, I will be the Chris Crocker of Swery 65 if I have to be. To Tim 505 with the $2 dono. Thank you for that dono. What are your thoughts on Skyward Sword HD being 60 frames? Good. Very good. I'll play it again. I don't have there. Oh wait, you meant $60. You meant $60. Okay, that's another can of worms. I'm not paying for it. I'm not paying for it. Nintendo is really pulling. They're really pulling. We're the top of the. We're the top of the stack. We're the top dick in town, right? That's Nintendo. They treat their fan base so poorly. Like being a Nintendo fan is Stockholm syndrome at this point. If you justify Nintendo always being a day late and $1 short in defending practices that they once swore they would never do. If you bought a Wii U, let me say that. If you bought a Wii U, like yours truly on launch day, there is a video of it out there too. If you bought a Wii U at launch day, you have every right to call Nintendo out on their shit from here to eternity. That half measure of a console. The way they treat us and the way they re-release all that content that was on the Wii and the Wii U, all this shit, just release the same games over again and charge insane numbers. And then there is a guy, smug little Twitter douche. You see all that time. They come out with these big brain takes. Ooh, if you're not happy with it, then just wait for a sale. If you're not happy with paying $60 and pissing on Iwata's grave and digging up Yamaguchi's bones and dancing around on the street with Yamaguchi's bones on everything, if you're not happy with how modern day Nintendo is, then just wait for a sale. Wait for the price to come down. This 10-year-old game. 10-year-old game. That can be easily acquired for $20 on the Wii. For the whole affair. For $60, you can buy a Wii. You can buy at least 3 Zelda games. You can make it happen. You can get a Bundaroo. Okay. I don't understand. You can emulate it for free. You can buy a Bluetooth adapter, a retro bit. What is it? 8-bit DOE? 8-bit DOE releases a USB adapter and you can just run Dolphin HD textures for free. Okay. Maybe $40, okay? Nintendo, if being a Nintendo fan is modern day cuckoldry. Okay, I don't want to go that far. But I would say there's something about it. Like, if you have ever come out on the record complaining about anti-consumer practices and you're a Nintendo fan, your opinion is meaningless. Your opinion is invalid. That smug guy, I think it was Kirk that posted that guy's tweet in my Discord. And I read that and I'm like, how out of touch with reality do you have to be a modern day Nintendo fan? As I'm playing on the Nintendo Switch, I'm aware of this hypocrisy. Right? But there's no other way to play Deadly Premonition 2. But how out of touch with reality do you have to be to put up with this same old bullshit, same old song and dance, and to come out and tell people that aren't happy with it, wait for a sale. I got 100 cigarettes. I've smoked 100 cigarettes, guys. Woo! Yeah. We did it. We did it. That's the reason why York has a tumor in 2019. It's because he got this stamp. All right. Well, what's our next goal? Our next goal is beard related. So we're just going to be sleeping a lot. Anyway, for that level of smug and delusion and Reddit hive mindness that you have to perpetuate, to live in a world that you've constructed for yourself. These are the same kind of people that go out there and buy Balan Wonderland on day one, hoping that it will somehow tap into the glory days of Sonic. These are the same people that are sleeping outside of GameStop for Balan Wonderland. If you are to listen to anything they have to say, okay, you now have the mind virus. That's all I'm going to say. J Spot with $5 super chat. Good dono, bro. Thank you so much, J Spot. Hooray for hypocrisy. I cannot defend it, okay? I buy Nintendo products. I've bought every Nintendo product. I have a Virtual Boy less than 1 foot from my face right now at all times when I'm in here, okay? I'm a Nintendo fan. When I buy a Nintendo product, I take a photo of myself with my mouth open. I do that every time. I've been doing that for years. Nintendo still treats me this way. Why? Didn't they see my photo? They didn't get the memo that I'm the number one. I'm their Ichiban number one fan. It's like Star Wars fans too. Like Marvel fans, they all fall into that same umbrella, in my opinion. Nintendo fans love it. They love to be treated that way. They're the same people that you could sell them on AMC and GameStonks without it, like having them explore the nuance of the stock market and how volatile things are and how manipulated it is by hedge fund managers, right? Oh my god. To Tim 505 with the $2 dono. Thank you so much. It should have been 3 packs. It should have been a 3-pack. That is a good point. How fucking cocky and like I just don't understand. Like how do you pack in 3 Mario games from 3 very different platforms, right? You got 64, GameCube, and the Wii, right? They just released this limited quantity, only going to be around for a limited time. They were pushing that crap. How do you do that? And then 3 months later, Skyward Sword, one of the most controversial games in our whole series, of games, one of the most controversially received games in our history, $60. Couldn't even put in Wind Waker, Twilight Princess. You already have them finished. They are done. They are done products. Could they not fit on there? On that cartridge? At least go the Final Fantasy HD Remaster collection and like put them in as a download voucher. At least do that while you're pissing on my face. We got Alexei Belyakov. Alexei Belyakov. Thank you so much. Welcome to Give Me Them Badges. Alexei, if you're in there. If my voice is carrying across the internet to what I assume is Russia. As I'm growing out this beard and getting stinky and killing York. Killing York in real time. If you can hear the sound of my voice, please post a sweary in chat. One sweary in chat. Thank you. Thank you for joining. The sleeping bag broke. Mark, where am I? Let's do a beard check. Where am I in my beard check? Am I at full beard yet? It's hard to see. I got all this crap going on, but we're getting close to full beard. We're gonna be stinky and smelly. Justin's in here. Member, big ups, G. Use them motes. We got old Cassie can. Every single emote. Justin's posted every single emote. That's what you can get if you are in Give Me Them Badges. Cassie can in chat. I'll accept a Cassie can. Thank you so much, Alexei. Mr. T, Nintendo fans are the ultimate consumers. They'll pay full price every time, and Nintendo knows it. I hate it. I hate it so much because they're the same people that are subscribed on YouTube to the people that are... I'm the biggest... I'm big consumer advocate, man. I got my own theme song. Got these cool glasses. Okay, I'm angry. I'm angry at the gaming industry today. I'm gonna put them to task. That's me. That's me. Hello, everyone. I'm Mr. Consumer Advocacy Man. Woo! Woo! Okay. Hold on. I'm Consumer Advocacy Man. I got my own theme song. Woo, 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 woo. All these companies are shit, and I hate their practices. On-disc DLC? Steam Greenlight? I cannot believe the state of this industry. Meanwhile, the Nintendo Switch is the greatest product of all time. I buy every title on it. I'm still just going to keep buying it. Upvote, upvote, upvote. Wow, you really showed them. You really showed them with your YouTube video. Nobody in the gaming industry is going to fucking listen to you, and I'll tell you why. Last of Us 2, top of the charts, okay? Last of Us 2, God of War, top of the charts. People don't play video games, they watch video games. They hit the buy button. The credit card information's in there. They're hitting buy. They're not watching your video, they're just buying it. They're buying it. The industry's over. It's over. I hate to do it. I hate to be the guy, but I'm about to shatter your Mr. Mosquito dreams forever. There's never going to be a Mr. Mosquito 3. Did you know there was a 2? Let's Go Hawaii it was Japanese only, released on PS2. I need to cover it, but did you even know that? Well, this stuff like this, gone forever. You did this. You did this. Your little upvotes on your consumer advocacy, man. I'm consumer advocacy, man. Oh no, dabbing on them developers. I'm dabbing on them. Steam Greenlight, bro. Nintendo, I can't believe Nintendo. And then next day, I'm buying this game anyways. I just won't tell anyone on Reddit that I bought the game anyways. And then, look at my kid. This is Reddit. Hey, look at my kid here. Look at my kid. I'm living vicariously through my child. Look. Anyone else nostalgic for the Wii U? Okay? Anyone else nostalgic yet for the Wii U? I just gave it to my kid. I just gave a Wii U to my kid. It's blowing their mind. Just, I coomed inside of a woman, and we made this thing, and this thing is now playing Wii U. Do you remember the Wii U? My kid's playing it. Give me an upvote right now. I coomed inside a woman. I made her carry that thing to term, and now I put a Wii U gamepad into its hand. I took a photo, and I showed it to a bunch of internet strangers whose intentions I have no worldly idea of what they're going to do with that photo. It could end up in a Jeffrey Epstein Pizza Ranch, for all I know. But look! Does anyone remember the Wii U? God damn. God damn. Do I hate Reddit? Get out of my face. Get out. Raising them right. 10K upvotes. Raising them right. You did it. Let me get rid of that strobe effect, by the way. Oh, man. You guys like to have a lot of fun. That's why I like you. That's why I got all these members in here posting all them badges, cheering me on, cheering on your boy Hikiko. He's going to grow that 30-day beard right here live on stream. No one else is out doing that. There's no game coverage like this that you're seeing right here, live on the scene. No second takes. Okay? I don't have a live-in girlfriend or boyfriend that writes all my scripts for me and edits all my videos in a really shitty manner. Pan and crop, pan, zoom out, zoom in, zoom out, pan to left, pan to right. I don't have that. Okay, I'm a one-person operation. Okay? I'm not gonna hear any more of your bullshit. I don't believe it. Let's put it that way. I don't believe you. You don't care. You don't care about the gaming industry. You feed into that nasty monster that is the gaming industry. You guys are going out there and you're giving all the thumbs to the people that sit on their fat ass and buy it anyway. So I don't believe it. This is why Nintendo's number one. Ichiban number one. I won't hear anything different. Okay? I won't hear anything. If you got a Disney Plus membership, time to leave the chat. Time to get out of here. If you can name 5 Marvel characters, not the stream for you. Not the stream for you. I'm sorry, bro. All right, I tease. You can like what you want to like. I'm not going to go that far. I love you too, guys. Thank you for being here. I only use Reddit to find pictures of fat chicks. You're a noble and kind, just soul. Thank you, Andrew, for your commentary. You broke the man with Nintendo questions, says Caption. I've been broken, okay? You can't further break what's already broken, my friends. I guess it's the hypocrisy that gets to me the most. People talk a lot of shit, okay? But then it's like hard. It's really, really tough to live up to your own words. Okay. The goals that you set for yourself, no matter where you are in life, you say you want to do something or stand for something, but you can also lie. As long as lying's on the table, as long as you can just not do that, and it's easier, maybe it's even more convenient for you not to do something, like hold out. Like, why would I hold out? They're going to continue to thrive. Like the worst things that you hate about video games are going to continue to thrive. And I had people out there like ask me, why would I buy Deadly Premonition 2? It's broken. That's a good point. But I still think that when something that's so wholly unique, that's going counter to everything you've seen in the gaming industry, you should support it, but it's also okay to be critical of it, okay? Be critical of it. Say, like, I'm going to buy this. I'm going to help you out now, but you can't fool me twice. And I'm not going out there saying, like, go ahead and buy it and stuff like that. I don't think that was the initial intention of Deadly Premonition 2, was to deceive. But I feel there's a lot more in this game that's worth the price of admission now that it's $30. Let me clarify. From the posting of this stream today, Deadly Premonition has dropped $10 in price. I would say it's definitely worth going in for $30. I would say $20 is the perfect price. But if you were on the fence, now might be the time to get into it. I would say if you just care about story, beginning, middle, and end, it's there. Okay? Not the best story in the world. Nowhere near as good as 1. But there's some enjoyable stuff here and there, and some good laugh, and the soundtrack's good. Okay, that's my defense of Deadly Premonition 2. If you're on the fence about this game, now's probably a good time to get it because it's $30. But beyond that, like I can't even say that this game's ever going to get another port or what, if they need more money to do it, to release another patch. But it's one of those tricky situations, like where I recommend it very trepidatiously. Like it's not like a full-on, wholehearted one, but it's kind of more of a plea of, well, if you buy it, make sure you're well aware of what you're getting into, but also maybe it will produce more further development on a future patch, or at least another port. Maybe the best move here is to hold out for another port, but I just don't know that they have the budget to do that. And I don't know if Nintendo helped produce this, because that could also be another factor too, is that Nintendo has somewhat of investment in here. So this may be as good as it's going to get. Yeah, social media is about posing, okay? It's fake. It's fake. What's real is what's around you. The people who are around you. The people you see in your day-to-day bubble, okay? That's real. Work on getting that right. Okay, before you start worrying about online strangers, worry about getting that right. Forming better relationships with people around you. It's very hard to do in the current era to do that. So I feel we're becoming like more distant as a consequence. But when the opportunity presents itself, I am breaking free of this. I'm going out, I'm spending time with my friends and my family, and just trying to do better about spending more time with the people that, I don't know, may one day go to my funeral. I may need help at one point, or they may need help, just like a community on the outside. And I don't buy, as I said, I don't pay a lot of stock into these like 10-minute controversies that go in and out all throughout it. Like I have to like shut my mind off and separate myself from it, because it's all a parade of hypocrisy all around. I'm not just aiming it at any one particular person or group or what have you, but it's all like showboaty nonsense if you look at it from an objective lens. But let's take a look at York here. Mark, what do you think? Mark, if you're in here, what's our beard status looking like? Are we nearing day 30? I guess I can do a little math here. We can look in our stamp book. Don't pay $60. Pay $30 for Deadly Premonition 2. I would honestly recommend paying $30. I would say it's a better value for Deadly Premonition 2 than it would be for a 10-year-old Zelda game at $60. Fuck that, man. Okay, we're almost at 80. Where was I before? So, days spent Lucare. We can at least get up to 80. Nintendo has done good stuff. They let Platinum Games have Wonderful 101. I mean, probably because they didn't have much else in it, right? I mean, that Nintendo didn't have much to gain in that regard. They probably presumed, like everyone else, that Wonderful 101 didn't have legs. So I wouldn't go out of the way and say, oh, Nintendo's a good boy. Nintendo's the golden standard. They did a cool thing once. They probably didn't see any financial potential within the Wonderful 101, and for good reason. Oh, that's a full beard. Okay. Mark says this is a full beard. Check it out. That's what it looks like. I got to shave this and then grow out another one. So we're going to see what happens when we shave. Nice. Looking dapper. Clean shaven bonus. It's all right, Mark. Thank you so much for helping out. We're going to go for the 80 Lucare days. So we're just going to constantly sleep till we get there. I can read some chat while we're doing this. Let's see here. Ben Hillman says, the fine art world is so rife with money laundering that it lets people make whatever weird stuff they want. Maybe gaming needs to get worse to get better. I think there's some diamonds in the rough. There are, but they don't get the exposure. I think what gets exposure nowadays is the AAA games. The AAA games that promise the world, what have you, like the cyberpunk controversy. Every time a AAA game does something shitty, that gets thousands of times more coverage than the good games that are doing something cool or unique. Maybe that's a fact of life. Like you see that on the news. You see more bad news than good news. But when somebody shares with me a Yang Ye video, when somebody shares with me a Review Tech USA video or something along those lines, I start to question their value of me as a person. What they think I want to read about. Like, here's something that may piss you off. Here you go. Take something. Take this evil. Take this poison and put it in you and see what happens. See what comes out on the other end. When somebody like shares with me an RGT, but the principle's all the same. Like, what do you want? When I make videos on my channel, I don't always want to talk about something negative. And I don't look at the world in just like black and white, or it's all good or it's all bad. That much is probably evident in my Medium review. Some guy got on to me. He's like, how can you trash this game the whole time? How can you trash this game the whole time and then recommend it? The same way I can trash Deadly Premonition 2 all around. Like, there's so much to trash about Deadly Premonition 2, but I can still recommend it because, as I said, there's more nuggets of interesting stuff that it's trying to tap into and exist outside of the mainstream and exist outside of the norm, that in itself, like, it's like eating at a new restaurant. Something that's like way outside of your comfort zone, like outside of your McDonald's and your Pizza Huts, way outside of that, okay? Like maybe you go to a small little mom and pop shop. Like, yeah, the porridge might have been a little cold, but they had one great burger. I didn't really care for anything else, but they had one unique item on that menu, and I feel Deadly Premonition 2 has enough of those unique things about it to make it worth the experience, if that makes sense. But I just don't give it a full-fledged pass, if that makes sense. And I feel people tend to gravitate more towards the black and white, the A and B sort of thing. And I just float through the middle. Like, okay, nothing in life is perfect as it is. But also fight for better, if that makes sense. The 210-505 says Nintendo has done good stuff, but they let Platinum games. Okay, I read that one. Capture Panic says, do you remember when Nintendo used to just randomly give out free DLC though? Yeah, that was a long time ago. Seems like a long time ago. The closest thing they're doing in that realm, a free DLC realm, is the occasional ROM that they do on their Nintendo. What is that? Like, they got their Super Nintendo and regular Nintendo shop. Whenever you have the Nintendo Online stuff, they do release some of that. Okay, one more day and we get 80. Okay, we'll do one more day and we'll get 80. Then I'm gonna do some stinky hunting. Okay, you guys want to do some stinky hunting? We're at 4 o'clock right now. How long have I been streaming for? 2 hours. Let's make this a 3-hour stream. Can we do 3 hours? Can we make this fun? Can you guys pump me full of energy and super chats? Give me them donos. Give me them big likes. Big likes on this stream. I'm giving you my best. You give me your best. Okay, let's see here. I think I just hit that. The stamp book is so fucked up. We hit 80 days in Lucare. I mean, like, that's pretty significant. As I said, you got to get up to 365. Madness. Absolute madness. I think Mark said something. It's every 12 days. Every 12 days, we get a full beard. Mark, is this a level 2 beard or a level 3 beard? Can you tell me real quick? I want to be able to shave one more beard off before I go out stinky hunting. What kind of beard is this? Chad, what kind of beard do you see? Mondo says Onion games are pretty good. I hope they stay around. Me too. I've bought every one of their games, and I've played Beauty and the Beast, which was their free game. Let's try and grow out another beard. Yep, that's a full one. Okay, we're going to shave that really quick so we can get that beard bonus. Clean shaven bonus and the full beard. So that ticks away too. I probably need to... I'll keep the clothes because I got to be stinky anyways. Let's heal up here. He hungry. There is a restaurant upstairs. Let's go there. David runs it at certain times of day, though. Like a doesn't look like a full beard, says Mr. Greedius. Yeah, it's there's no good indicator. You just kind of have to wing it sometimes. But Mark's Guide is a good place to start if you're interested in doing the beard stamp. Ew. I would love a Bananas Foster. If anyone wants to mail me a Bananas Foster in the mail, I will eat it. Yeah, it's a full beard for York. I think his just cuts off. It's the same one that you would see, I think, in Deadly Premonition 1. It doesn't get terribly big. It's not like lumberjack mode. Andrew says, I like the tone of your DP2 video. You didn't just play up false anger to garner views or create e-drama. Yeah. I mean, it's very easy to split hairs. Some people think that just splitting hairs is reviewing something. I saw that a lot. I would say that was more common 10 years ago on YouTube. People just nitpicking things, and there is an art to that. There are some good reviewers out there that are known for nitpicking and playing it that way. But at the end of it, I think it cheapens the work that went into the product. Not everything's always going to line up, okay? And when you completely gloss over the positives of something and just speak like, oh, this is all this, and you didn't like go through the whole game or at least make an honest, earnest attempt, you really are shitting on hundreds of people at the same time. All the people that put their blood, sweat, and tears into it. And you're not giving the game a chance to be fixed. So, I think it works better in the retro field, but in the modern field, when there's still another chance for the game to be good, like all these people that made their money, and there's people that make tons of money doing this every day, shitting on Cyberpunk. When the game gets fixed, they're going to be making the same videos praising it, like, oh, they stepped it up. The good ups on CD Projekt Red, good ups on it, my friends. They really pulled through on it. They're going to be making the same video just on the opposite side to make their money, okay? I just don't think they're not true gamers in that sense. Not to be a gatekeeper. $10 from the Century is Down, massive dono. Chill mode active. Thank you so much. It's not a Bananas Foster, but it's enough to buy some Bananas Foster mix at the grocery store. That's right, Zach. Thank you so much, Myrk. Mark, people should be paying you for your time. If any one of you guys out there enjoy this stream, please go check out my most recent video. I linked Mark's guide in there, and I talked about Mark's guide in my video. Mark is at 399 stamps, okay? To even comprehend what an achievement that is in terms of Deadly Premonition 2, it is the most dedicated, like it's the max amount of dedication you can have. Not only to have gotten that many stamps, but then to document the entire process for the world for future generations, okay? Mark did it, okay? So no matter what, you can't take that from Mark. You can't take that from Mark. So I commend Mark on that. Thank you, man. Thanks for your dono. Yeah, it's like people haven't learned from No Man's Sky. God, that No Man's Sky might have been even worse. But I hear it's a great game now. There's a podcast I listen to where it seems like every episode this one guy's just like, oh, it's a phenomenal game now. It's like a whole different game. It finally lived up to its promises. And I will give them a big up. I never played it. I don't really get buy into hype too often myself. But I heard if you got PlayStation VR or a VR device, it's leaps and bounds ahead of a lot of different VR games in terms of like the massive scale and immersion. I'm not really a procedurally generated world guy. Minecraft had its time in my life, but No Man's Sky, I thought it was cool if you like that sort of game. For me, I'm just indifferent to it, so. But Cyberpunk was really hyped to hell and back. And it did trigger a red flag for me. I'm like, I'll wait on this. But I'll definitely play it later on down the road. But don't buy into these hype waves. Unless the company is just, they have a lot more to show up front. Don't buy into the hype waves. Delta says they can fix bugs, but they can't fix Cyberpunk's mediocre story and gameplay. I don't know anything about the story, man. That's the thing. I really only complain about stories if it's something I truly love. I would say on the whole, most video games don't have great stories. They have passable stories that are a framework to get you from point A to point B, the bare minimum at best. But that's why I wanted like more for Deadly Premonition 2. I wanted it to make me feel something. I cannot believe, dude, I don't know how to say this, but I played Deadly Premonition 2. I got to the ending and I was excited, like, oh, this was interesting. Like, I'm glad this 10 years had come to a close. They finally did it. They finally put it out. I was proud of them for putting out. But then when I let it sink in, I'm like, what just happened? Well, what, how did all these events unfold? And I went through the whole story. I had recorded my entire playthrough. And I went through and I watched my entire playthrough. I'm like, man, all of this just unfolded because Hoongan told York to do these things. And York did it unquestioningly. He was just like, it's an oracle. I must do these things. And there was no payoff for Hoongan. I will say that much. I won't tell you what happened at the end, but the end is absolutely bonkers and dumb. Bonkers in the wrong direction. And I was like, man, I don't know how anyone thought this was good in terms of a story. I don't know how anyone broke down in tears. No offense to anyone out there who broke down in tears, but I'm like, what? You should be crying about how bad this story was. I would think the story is probably one of the it's hard to say. There's a lot of weak things about this game to point out just one thing, but the story was just I don't even know how to describe it. It was a letdown, but it was also trying some new things, which is commendable, but it was also just rushed out the gate. Like, if you ever make it to the final act of Deadly Premonition 2 and you're not raising eyebrows like, what? Who's that? Where did this come from? Oh, now they're wrapping it up. It's over? It's over? They're closing it? Now? Okay. All right, we're done? I think that I did mention in my video, the thing that bugged me the most was the lack of Greenvale and all the events in Greenvale and how they glossed over it. All the events in Deadly Premonition 1 just did not matter for the most part in 2019. I guess I've just never been a fan of nonlinear storytelling in general. And jumping from timelines just go with just get one timeline right, okay? Just tell one story, beginning to end. Beginning, middle, end. Beginning, middle, end. Okay, if we can go back to just that for a while, I'm happy with it. Just let me have an ability to follow it, I don't know, without having an encyclopedic knowledge of all the events. Like, I've played Deadly Premonition 1, I want to say at least 6 times in my life. 6 full times, 6 complete playthroughs, on every platform, maybe 7. I played it a lot. But can we just have one coherent timeline to work with? Good foundation before we start hopping timelines and introducing fairies and introducing tree monsters and demons and metaphysical planes of existence that aren't related to another metaphysical plane of existence found. Good God. It was a mess. Denzel says, I love the charge gun attack. It made combat kind of fun. I think it just seems like, look at this. It looks like the reticle here was made for motion controls. Like they were making Wii or Switch motion controls and then just, oh shit, the aiming's really bad. The target system's really bad. Let's just make lock on. Let's just make it a charge shot. It seems like they abandoned motion controls is where I feel. Just my opinion, not the truth. Okay? I'm not the definitive source on DP2. I just play it a lot. And I had a lot of convos with people about DP2. But people are going to look back, I guarantee this is what happens. This is what happens with any game that receives a lot of controversy 10 years from now, when games are even shittier and take less chances, people are going to come back and say, man, that Deadly Premonition 2 was something else. It wasn't perfect, but it was pretty interesting, pretty doggone interesting. Here's my video essay that I just shat out. But here's my virtual reality video essay that I just shat out. I don't know. The whole nostalgia rose-tinted thing happens with every game, every single game. Action 52. 52 unique experiments the world wasn't ready for. One day you're going to see some shit like that. Action 52. Actually a great game. Secretly genius? Type in secretly genius on YouTube. See how many people have fucking farted out one of those video essays. X game was secretly genius. The secret genius of Never Dead. Some asshole on the internet's pointing out that every day. Big bold text. Face with big bold text. Caption Panic 98 says No Man's Sky is a good redemption story. I'm sure it is. I mean, if I know for a fact this guy, here's this dude, as I said, that on every podcast that I listen to, there's a Q&A segment, and then the people ask him, like, what's a game you recommend? And then he just rattles off No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky. He's like, I didn't buy it when it first came out, but I played it during the patch, and he goes, blew my mind. I get stoned and I play it and I love it. So he talks it up all the time. So it sounds like they really did have a redemption arc, which I'm not against. I hate it when people completely shut off all avenues of a second chance. Second chances are great. If they want to try and fix what they broke and they make an earnest attempt, okay? They make an earnest attempt to mend the errors of their ways, then good. Not saying you don't have a right to complain, but give them a chance. People make mistakes. And I from what I heard, No Man's Sky development was really pushed. I think like one of the publishers on it pushed it out of the gate when it wasn't ready. So a lot of corporatism is also behind the scenes. God, I hate that title. BMX Triple X was secretly genius. Yeah. They come up with... I think a lot of that has to do with college institutions, creative writing classes. Like I've been on a panel before of creative writing classes, like where there's like a literacy award or a creative writing award that's about to go down, and then a lot of the time people go with like a hook, a catchy title of some kind, and sometimes the content doesn't always meet up with the hook, the promise in the thesis. And that kind of goes hand in hand. And YouTube also feeds into that system too. I was having a conversation with somebody in the Discord. They're like, yeah, when they make titles like that, they're not doing it to deliberately be clickbait. Like they need to play the game. They need to play the game, and because the algorithm will really punish them if they don't cater to people with short attention spans and that sort of thing. That's what it's for. It's to cater to people who don't like to think for themselves, and I get it. They make up the majority of people in existence, so you got to try and tap into that vein. Doesn't make the title any less annoying, in my opinion. I'm killing a lot of these panelones. Bubsy 3D was secretly genius. Posted 3 days ago. Yep, exactly. Yeah, I told you, man. That shit. And it's not just one. It's hundreds of them like that. I don't know. I don't like to throw around the term genius all that much. Genius implies they are one of the greatest thinkers of our time. That they've made a mass contribution in their field that will be heard throughout the echoes of time, right? That's what genius should be ascribed to. I think Louis C.K. might have had a bit on this. Maybe it was about amazing. But genius is such a Reddit phrase that I don't like to use it too much. The same people are like, Neil deGrasse Tyson is my hero. Bill Nye the Science Guy made me care about science with his funny music videos. I didn't care about science until they put a beat behind it and made a really cringeworthy rhyme. I didn't like to think for myself until Man with Bow Tie made me think about things differently. Don't admit that, bro. Just maybe not say that. Maybe not admit that. Have some self-respect. Christ. Custer's Revenge was secretly genius. Oh, man. Talk about... There's a movie that I might recommend. It's an underground movie made by one of my favorite underground filmmakers. Maybe you heard of him. Brad Jones, the cinema snob. Shout out to Brad Jones. He'll never watch this channel ever. He did talk to me once. We had one conversation one time. I was very excited when that happened. But shout out to Brad Jones. Brad Jones made an entire movie about Custer's Revenge. Did you guys know this? Cinema Snob has an entire movie about the quest for Custer's Revenge. I think he made the Angry Video Game. Like, here's the thing. Brad Jones made the Angry Video Game nerd movie that should have been made. Like the quest for a rare game and going on shenanigans and a terrible game. Brad Jones made that, and the movie is free. You can watch it on his website, thecinemasnob.com. It's called Game Boys. GameBows. Game Boys. It's pretty decent. It's good, and he makes a lot of good indie films where just him and his friends have wacky shenanigans. And his whole movie is about finding and beating Custer's Revenge and just all the shenanigans surrounding the retro game scene at the time. I like his movies because they have a lot of soul behind them. Low budget, very grindhouse, very B. And I would say Brad has a Tarantino handle of dialogue. He makes a lot of good conversation scenes between characters, and they feel like they have an element of humanity to them. And I watched a lot of his films. Big inspiration for the channel, big inspiration in general, just picking up a camera and going, not really concerning yourself with how bad things look, and appreciating the graininess and the exploitation and the still one of my favorite content creators out there, Brad Jones. But yeah, he's got a movie, Game Boys. Go watch it. Get yourself some popcorn, maybe a Mountain Dew, and reminisce. It's a good movie. You saw it, Mr. T? Mr. T knows what's up. Yeah, it's up on his website. All of his old films are up there. I'm not sure if they're on YouTube because sometimes he may use copyrighted music and what have you. But yeah, I think he also had like an animated series about it. Yeah, he's still one of my favorites. He makes so many videos. It's impressive. Okay, we're going for a new stamp. This one's going to be a tad weird. Get ready for it. Let's make sure I have everything in place. I showed it off in my last video. Where are we in time? Okay, we got about 30 more minutes. I think I can grind for a new stamp. Right now I'm at 187. Not a lot of progress, but it's a skateboard relating one. Break your board 30 times is the next one we're going to do. By the way, I'm 2 full beards. 2 full beards in. Colds, power slides. Yeah, so I'm 9 out of 30. We can do this. It won't take too long. I don't think. I'll show you how to do it. This is a trick I learned from Mark, but first we're going to smoke a cig. Get them cigs. Takeshi's Challenge is a bad game, but a good joke. Just like Takeshi would want. Beat Takeshi, have you guys ever seen Beat Takeshi's film? Anything with Takeshi Takano has kind of like a mob element with it that's really brutal, but it also has some comedy behind it. That's kind of his thing. On the inside, you can tell Beat Takeshi's really depressed and sad. But he has a lot of internal anger that's expressed in his films. And then there will be like one good punchline or 1 or 2 good punchlines in his films. Not as brutal as Mike, but you can tell that guy's lived through a lot of shit. He's phenomenal in Yakuza 6, by the way. I loved him. Yeah, the skateboarding does have a Bully vibe to it. That's a good comparison. And I love Bully. Okay, so over here, let me set the scene for you. This is Emma. Emma repairs skateboards. When your skateboard's broken, you can't use it. You have to go over to Emma. She repairs it for you. So there is a little secret over here that Mark discovered. This gap right here. If you place York right here, get on the skateboard, and just place yourself in a very specific angle. I don't know how he did it. Maybe he holds up. But just doing that, you can see off in the left corner or the left-hand side of the screen, because there's so much UI in this game, that it does a lot of damage to your board. When your board collides with something, it takes off 1%. So you got to break it 30 times. And York's clothes are all getting damaged too. Yeah, there needs to be more ramps in this game. I think there's only 3 major ramps. Hold on. Let's get some better stuff going here. Yeah, that's a good way of getting it broken. I don't think I'll do all 30 times. That would be boring to watch, but just showing it off real quick. I can't believe Mark did all this. Like, as I said, big ups to Mark for making that guide. Nobody else on the internet, maybe one other person that I know of that would do that, but it's insane. Oh, did I not break it? I don't think I broke it the whole time, but there we go. We got the blessing bonus for talking to her. We got BO damages for talking to her while stinky. Bully is one of Rockstar's greatest games. I don't know. It was super controversial at the time. I believe it was referred to by some pundit as a Columbine simulator, which couldn't be further from the truth. I can't believe that's what bugs me the most is the media is given so much credit as a valid source of information and an authoritative source. I should say it's a people consider the American media an authoritative source on information and what, like, you also got to remember they're the same ones going out there. They're the same ones going out there saying video games cause violence, and if your kid plays bully, they're going to be a school shooter. And for years on end, they started making all these conflations, all these not based in reality, not based in science, observations about video gaming. And nowadays, people, I don't know, take everything the media tells you with a grain of salt, okay? Do your own research, okay? Don't be just reading headlines. Because I grew up during a time where Mortal Kombat, Doom were so taboo, and there were politicians on a certain side of the aisle that were adamantly trying to censor media and take out, like, basically stall or create a sense of arrested development in the video gaming world, just like making them products specifically aimed for kids. And creating unnecessary laws, and the bureaucrats going out there trying to, like, draw a line in the sand and saying, oh, these violent games cause these violent actions. That's still ongoing. That has not gone away. It's probably not as prominent as it was in the 90s because people are smarter than that, I would like to think. But I don't view media that way. I don't view books or film or art, photography, music. I don't think they should be analyzed for face value things. Like, they contain something controversial. They contain violence. They contain sex or satanic imagery, things like that. I don't think they should be viewed out under that lens. Like, kind of like David Lynch's work. How are they making you feel? Like, maybe the experience in itself, how it makes you feel, is the art. The boundary it pushes, the lines of its time, the way it, like, is in response to the mores and the rules of its time. How does it make you feel? Being able to elicit a response of any kind, positive, negative, is sort of an art form. Even some of those, like, weird, controversial filmmakers, controversial artists out there. I don't even want to come out there and say, like, Takeshi 69, Scum Gang. I don't want to go out there and say, like, Takeshi 69 is one of the most subversive artists of our era. But his ability, I think there was an article or there's a documentary out there, like, where they kind of explore that, like, the troll nature of Takeshi 69 and, like, how to profit off of controversy and how to stay relevant. Getting into that, like, having that, I don't know, that kind of saved his life, being a troll. It kept him out of danger, even though he was, like, a snitch on one of his gangs that he hung around with. There's so many strange avenues to success in the world if you think about it. People that, there's always, like, the rule makers, the people that want you to draw within the lines. You see a lot of formalism in your education, a lot in your education. There will be pundits on the internet or twitter.com that want you to stay within your lane, that want you to draw on the lines, say you can't broach taboo subjects, right? There are a lot of rule makers. There are a lot of Puritans in there, but that's not always an element of truth. There's not a lot of truth or weight behind how reality actually is. If that was true, David Lynch would have never gotten money for any of his projects. He broke almost every film convention there was in the book. He's broached every subject and tapped into a lot of different feelings that many imitators have tried to recapture but couldn't, because they just don't understand the world through his lens, if you will. And there is a secret genius. See how I tied that back around? Takeshi 69 is secretly genius, but there is an element of knowing where the line is and stepping over it. And I think people talked about this. Like, you watch any good documentary on comedy, like Richard Pryor would be talking about like understanding where the lines are in society and stepping over them or stepping up close to it. Or Patrice O'Neal. I watched a really, really good documentary on one of my favorite comedians of all time, Patrice O'Neal. They were talking about how he would just ask questions. He wouldn't even necessarily have full material. He would go up on stage and ask questions that were kind of in a moral gray area. There was no right answer for these things that he would talk about on stage. He'd go up there and make the audience feel hypocritical and make them feel uncomfortable. And he wasn't necessarily interested in making them laugh, but he wanted to make them feel something. And that's where I find value in things, in my media. Like, my girlfriend's like, why do you watch some of these films? Like, I'll be watching some avant-garde art house shit or something that has like a really brutal murder or rape scene or something like that. Why do you watch these films? Because these films are doing something for me that other films aren't. Like, when I watch a Marvel movie, I feel nothing. I feel a flat line. I don't feel like I have any investment in these characters or world. All my protagonists are powerful. They don't really deal with any major struggles. Everything's wrapped up by the end. There's no true... The CG's doing the acting for them. There's no one particular artist's vision behind the direction. I feel nothing. Okay? I feel nothing. And I think that's the biggest crime of all when it comes to comedy, when it comes to making movies, when it comes to making video games. If nobody feels anything, and this is what I wanted to go back on. Well, the one rant I didn't get to. Before I get into this rant, I'm going to read some chat and give my shout outs here. We're coming to a close. We're getting close there. I'm so stinky. I'm paying all these BO damages, if you didn't know. $75 to talk to a woman. My stinky ass talking to a woman. Imagine if you were stinky one day and you went and talked to somebody and then they billed you for $75. I would have been a millionaire at my GameStop job. I would have been a millionaire if I could have issued BO fines. Anyway, let's check in on the stamps. I'm going to read some chat. I'll get into one last rant. You guys have been so supportive today. This has been one of the best streams I've ever done. The Vita stream was fun. It was very fun. But I felt this kind of was on target or centered around deconstructing Deadly Premonition 2 and modern gaming. Survival horror media. Good deconstruction. Video essay. It was a video essay. You got it. You got it right here. I got 20 out of 20 stench hunters. 187. I should be hunting more things, honestly. Let's check out these board damages. 13 out of 30. I could do better. Pay the skateboard damages, fine. 30. Okay, pedestrian damages, I could probably pull that off. Let's go do some stinky hunting. We'll do some stinky hunting. I'll read some chat, and then I'll go on one more rant. By the way, turn it up. Turn it up. Turn it up. Turn it up. Thumbs up. Leave that like, you ridiculous fools. Yeah, the Jack Thompson-ness. Golly. Don't be listening. If there's a face behind any movement, people like to say that, oh, there's no chilling effect, there's no sanitization happening in our industry. People enter into a defensive mode, a denial that there's no chilling effect in the gaming industry, that there's no sanitization to appeal to the Chinese market in our movies. No witchcraft allowed. Take off the blinders for a minute and ask yourself, like, look at it from an objective point of view. Look at it like, why do people cling on to the horror movies from the 1980s? Why is it that Jason Voorhees and Freddy Krueger and Michael Myers stood the test of time? Because in their era, they were pushing a lot of boundaries. They were being gory. They had sex aplenty in their films. They were causing this, like, it was, a lot of them existed during a time of satanic panic too. People thought they were influencers of promoting Satanism. They were figures that were antithetical to like the moral compass or the, what do they call it? Is it the teetotalers? Not the teetotalers. The pearl clutchers. They were figures that stood counter to the pearl clutchers of their era. Can we have another horror figure in our culture as significant as Freddy, Michael, Jason? Is there some horror figure that will push such a boundary and leave such an impression upon like a whole generation of either kids or adults or whatever? Some people would say like Pennywise from It, but like Tim Curry had already laid that foundation. I'm talking about like a new horror icon of some kind. A lot of it's treading the same water that was around in the 80s and stuff. That's where I'm at. Like, horror needs a new icon. It needs to push more boundary. As I said, but horror is always rooted. It's always a reflection of something that was going on in the era. Like, a lot of them can be commentaries. Not in any particular fashion. Like, it's not promoting one thing or another, but it's just making a statement of some kind, right? It had some value. George Romero, he didn't set out to make like in the first Night of the Living Dead, this is a misconception, but he didn't set out to make a movie about segregation, but people reacted to it that way based on the casting of Dwan Jones as Ben, one of the most iconic horror characters of all time. But people were feeling it. They had that visceral reaction that let that movie stand the test of time. And then 1970s, he came out and he was talking about consumerism, consumer culture, right? Horror was a reflection of the culture of the eras he occupied. He also made some good exploitative films like Vincent, the new take on a vampire movie. But there was always a response to it. I think maybe Jordan Peele may be trying to tap into that. Jordan Peele's got a good movie behind him. He's got Get Out for sure. But people like it when you broach uncomfortable subjects, I think. And I think comedy does that too. Comedy is always based around an uncomfortable subject. And that's what I feel Deadly Premonition 2 and modern horror is missing. And I want to bring this back to one good example I have of this. And you saw this in my Medium video, how Bloober Team, the developers of the Medium, Bloober Team, biggest fans of Silent Hill 2. Silent Hill 2 is the greatest game. Silent Hill 2 had Pyramid Head. I had Akira Yamaoka. I like I like how it's subversive. I like Silent Hill. Silent Hill had metaphor for protagonist inner demons externally. Silent Hill 2 have fog. Our game have fog. Silent Hill 2 Silent Hill 2 had make you question, more gray area. Silent Hill, our game make you question, more gray area. People get the broad strokes of Silent Hill 2, I feel. That it's not... And it's, my comment section just completely blew the fuck out of Bloober, and I'm not in that camp of just completely shitting on them, even though I just did. But Bloober team has this problem that I saw in a lot of mainstream opinions, like Silent Hill 2, holding it up as this crowning achievement in survival horror. And I think people miss out on some of the other things that Silent Hill did. Beyond just, oh no, our protagonist exists in this morally ambiguous vacuum, and you can't judge him. Would you do the same thing? Would you do the same thing if it was you? That's what we are trying to accomplish with our game. Put yourself in Marianne's shoes. Imagine you had a glowing hand and untold powers. Untold powers. What would you do with those untold powers? Would you kill yourself? Those are the questions we are trying to push. No, I'm just kidding, okay? But I feel there's also some other very disturbing imagery that many games nowadays would never do. Never do. The introduction of Pyramid Head. I saw the introduction. Let's talk about the introduction. When I was in middle school, I played Silent Hill 2. I rented it. I rode my scooter over to Hollywood Video. I had to write it back because they wouldn't rent the game to me because it was immature. I had my mom make me a permission note that I could have honestly made my own permission note and they wouldn't have fucking cared. But I went back home, got the permission note, I had her call them and verify its authenticity. I went and I rented Silent Hill 2. I took it back, and I did not even have a memory card when I was playing Silent Hill 2. Couldn't afford a memory card, just had a PS2. And I played Silent Hill 2 for a whole week on, okay? I beat it multiple times. I went to my library. I took my scooter down to my library. I looked up, there's alternate endings, there's different avenues, there's that you can, like, it's like a whole different world, right? I was obsessed with that game. But I was also terrified of it because it put me in a place where, as a middle schooler, as a child, I should have never been. I was, what's his name? Shigesato Itoi, the creator of Earthbound. You know how Earthbound came about? Shigesato Itoi went into a movie theater, thought he saw a rape go down in a movie, and it completely inspired Earthbound. At least the Geiges section. That's the kind of impact that Silent Hill 2 impressed upon me as a child. Everyone cites Silent Hill 2 as a great inspiration. They never want to talk about Pyramid Head's introduction. Pyramid Head's introduction is kind of a brutal rape fantasy. It's disgusting. It's uncomfortable. And you live it vicariously through James. The lens of James, while he's like peeking through the slats and he doesn't know what he does, what's going on. Like, it's so incomprehensible. Just not only seeing Pyramid Head, but seeing what he's doing and just not having words for it. Okay. It's still and then like the first boss battle with Pyramid Head. I can't even believe that's up on YouTube. He's getting a blowy from a patient demon, and it's disgusting to look at, right? That's no one mentions that, okay? They just talk about it in vague terms, like, oh yeah, Silent Hill, so good. Like, that, the reason why Silent Hill 2 sticks with people is because it puts you in a very uncomfortable place as a gamer, okay? No other game that I could think of up until that point pushed that boundary, okay? And how many times does the game violently kill Maria, okay? She gets murdered so many times in that game, okay? And then people still say, Silent Hill 2, so good, so good. But at the end of the day, what do you see? Silent Hill 2 has very graphic sexual imagery, brutal violence against women, morally ambiguous characters, an atmosphere that is still unparalleled when it comes to survival horror. No other game at that time was going that far, okay? And now people are kind of coming out here like, oh yeah. Well, they don't know what they want, is what I'm saying. It's like when you go out there and start saying like Deadly Premonition 2, can't do this, it can't do that, and then like praise it for being so sanitized and not like, if you want Silent Hill, you got to know what you're asking for, okay? Silent Hill 2 will put you in a place where you don't want to be. It's an oppressive atmosphere. That's kind of the point. It's supposed to alienate you. It's supposed to put you in a place where you never thought you were going to go. Like if you never think you're going to find normalcy or return home again, okay? That's effective horror. That's my opinion, okay? But that's Lynch operates under the same conditions. I see all these same people trying to set all these rules for how directors should express themselves in gaming, and then also at the same time praising Silent Hill. Okay, I'll tell you something. Silent Hill was not like PT. It wasn't a first-person spooky supernatural ghost story, okay? It wasn't Christoph Gans roaming through a woman's traumatic past, or whatever you want to call it, like like it wasn't just a haunted house, okay? It dealt with real disturbing things. The first time you meet Eddie Dombrowski, Silent Hill 2, he's puking and vomiting because he's got some really fucked up PTSD from murdering somebody, just slamming them over and over into a refrigerator. Eddie Dombrowski done murdered somebody, right? He's also in a state of arrested development, okay, because I think he's either mentally stunted or just because of trauma that he experienced as a child, like when he was bullied on a football team. He acted out on that aggression. He was like Gomer Pyle. He was like Gomer Pyle, Private Pyle from Full Metal Jacket, right? You're dealing with that really disturbing character. I would say Eddie's boss fight is still so, like, that also hit me on another level. Like, this guy he has every screw loose. You could tell he was a victim of bullying. He shot a dog. He killed a dog. Unforgivable. He killed a dog. And then James wants to have a peaceful resolution. So James is wandering into that freezer of all that hanging meat, an unnatural environment. And he's trying to talk Eddie down, despite knowing that Eddie is a psychotic murderer that's beyond redemption, still tries to talk him out of it, and you just gotta murder Eddie, okay? Angela, victim of horrific abuse, untold abuse. When you walk into the what is it, that daddy fight? They call it the something daddy. You're walking into a place where no video game would dare enter, okay? The mind of a fragile and broken woman who's also mentally stunted. She's in arrested development because of her trauma, okay? Silent Hill 2 went to those places. And that's why it stood the test of time. Why Deadly Premonition 2 will not. Why the medium will not stand the test of time. It showed you things that some people may never experience. Thank God they'll never experience that. But it did that. It did that, and it took you on a... And no, there is no one way to depict these things. There's no right way of doing it, but it broached the subject. And it made you feel unease, okay? So that's where I stand. I say, if you're going to go horror, go all the way. Stop this half-measure shit. Stop this horror with kids glove. Stop trying to appeal to people, faceless drones on Twitter. Tell a story and take it somewhere and make it unforgettable. And if you fail, you fail. But at least try something. Make me feel something. That's my piece on that. That was my video essay. Thank you, chat. I'm killing UFOs. I'm stinky. I'm sure somebody's going to take this out of context, but know that I love sweary and I want horror to be great. I don't want it to be just this half measure paranormal activity bullshit. Take you back to the realm of Clive Barker. Give Clive Barker a chance. Like put Clive Barker and Masahiro Ito in a room together and get them really high, and then have Sweary come by, and then tell them about what was on his mind for the day, and that's a game that I want to play. Okay, let me read some chat. I love you, chat. Don't take it the wrong way. I'm very passionate about horror. Justin says, the horror mascot is dead. The only hope is artists like Astor and Eggers. Yes, I love Eggers. Eggers wrote The Lighthouse and the Vavitch. And they're not necessarily graphic movies, but they put you in very bad places. Weird, off-putting places. Thank you, Santi. I'm glad you appreciated that impression of Bloober Team. Santi says, I don't know, bro. I'm just tired of this Silent Hill bullshit. I don't want another Silent Hill. In fact, I want a new Siren. Something new with its own inspiration. Some games have that. Yeah, well, I'm for new ideas as well. But if you're going to invoke Silent Hill, you can't just be playing. You can't just pretend to be Silent Hill. You can't just be coming at it. Oh, I'm going to make Silent Hill, but it's going to have the content. It's going to have the graphic of an episodes of Erie, Indiana, or Goosebumps. We are going to do Silent Hill in the vein of Supernatural. We are going to do Silent Hill in the vein of what was that, Off-Brain's Goosebumps. I mean, there's so many. I don't know. Just can't. There's so many people, the apologists out there for that kind of stuff. And it all starts with people that say, to be fair. When you start hearing people use the term, to be fair, playing devil's advocate, they're not interested in growing the medium. They're not interested in making any progress in the art form. They're interested in hearing themselves talk. To be fair is where all conversations and creativity go to die. Okay? To be fair. And in their defense, no. It's inexcusable. Make it better. Does Rule of Rose emulate well? Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Don't just try and apply all the highest settings on it, though. I think it works better in its native resolution. I got it right now. I got it right there on the shelf. Justin Romprey with that massive dono, $5. Going to that chicken sandwich fund. Thank you, Justin Romprey. Silent Hill 1 perfected horror of occult and demonic shit. Silent Hill 3 body horror and birth. Silent Hill 4 isolation and gross voyeurism. Each pushed the boundaries so much, but hey, Silent Hill 2. Lol, I know what you mean, my friend. But I'm not going to dump all over Silent Hill 2. It is overrated in some regards. Each one went a different route, for sure. Silent Hill 2 is just like way, way overrated. Way overrated. To a point where it kind of ruined the franchise. Pyramid Head. Whoever signed off on Pyramid Head appearing in Homecoming, makes me sick. Mondo says, rules are meant to be broken, yo. I agree. Caption Panic 98. The way you describe Silent Hill 2 is the way I describe Rule of Rose to people now. I love Rule of Rose. Jesus. I'd like to talk about it someday. I want to have a discussion with someone. I don't want to just say, here's all my thoughts on Rule of Rose. I want to bounce some ideas with another video maker if I ever make a Rule of Rose video, because it deserves to be dissected, and I'm sure it's been dissected a billion times. Santi says, oh, the first time I met Eddie, I was really uncomfortable. Also want to throw up. Yeah. Eddie is... Every character in that game... James included, Maria, Eddie, Angela, Laura, all of them have just like a certain air of like, why are they drawn to this town? And you're thinking about that, and even Laura is just kind of creepy. Laura plays into that weird child, like that weird creepy kid that you see in horror movies and stuff. She seems so out of place, and they always paint her like Laura represents innocence. Laura's so innocent, and she's the eyes of a child in this world, and she does not see all the monsters. But like, Laura's a demon. Laura's also a demon. She calls you a fart face. She locks you in with all those monsters and almost kills you. I don't know. Everything about that game's a little creepy, but yeah, I think Silent Hill 3 is like one of the most amazing coming-of-age games. Doesn't get enough credit talking about just being a teenage girl, you know, and all the hard choices that you have to make and the weird pressures put upon you. Heather. Very good female antagonist, right? The whole metaphor for abortion, though, the morning after pill was... it didn't dawn on me when I was in high school. I was kind of picking up on what I was laying down, but as an adult, I'm like, man, this is Ginger Snaps level of subversive coming of age.
You're our best customer, Agent York. Come back.
What's that noise? Do you guys hear that? Okay, that takes care of the noise. There's a weird noise Deadly Premonition 2 is doing. Mr. T says, Rule of Rose video collab with Thor. Maybe, if he's got the time. Nitro Rad did a video on Rule of Rose. I'm sure he did. Mr. Gradius. Rule of Rose video with Thor, maybe. I don't know. Like, it's like, I'm here. If anyone wants to collab, I'm not going to turn my nose up at it. I've played through the game 3 times. Yeah, a little hive mind. Mondo, Ragnarok's did it too. Like, everyone, it's all been done. It's all been analyzed with video games are art. Video games are art. War's over. Yeah, like when I make a video, I gotta make sure I have an original spin on it, or at least some observation worth the time put in there. I don't want to tread the same ground as everyone else. So if I feel inspired, I will. But I'm thinking that a lot of my videos should be on more modern or recent games, trying to elevate what's out there, the good stuff that's out there, and not be trapped in the retro thing. Like, oh, all the good shit that's ever come out has already been released. That can be dangerous, being trapped in a nostalgic mindset, if you will, to constantly praise, oh, it can never be as good as it used to be, the good old days. I don't believe that. I believe that it can come back, but you gotta not be afraid to, as I said, crack a few eggs, push a few boundaries. And I feel so many developers are too worried about what other people think. People that don't even buy their games, that won't even buy the games in the first place. Focus on achieving your vision, making it happen in a logistical, realistic manner. Okay? And enough with this. Another thing I'm tired of is like 5 or 6 year development times. Games that have just ridiculously long, like from the announcement to completion. I'd much rather have like games with 1 to 2 year development times that are maybe 10 to 20 hours long. Okay? Let's get a smaller game that does something interesting, that has a unique little story. 1 to 2 year development times. They're like more frequent content versus like 7 year development time. The development time of Final Fantasy 13 and then or Final Fantasy 15. It seems like more games are just taking their goddamn time, and I'd like more smaller games, please. Let's see. Become a Steam Greenlight commissar. I would be probably depressed at the end of the day. There are certain developers I pay attention to. Certain things that get on my radar. I go for it. Ben Hillman Rewind says, one of the new horror low-budget games I just played that I really enjoyed was Daymare. Caption Panic 98. It'll come back if things get back to normal, I'm sure. I made a video on my channel about Lone Survivor. If you want a game that makes you feel... it just was ahead of its time in predicting a pandemic-like game. There have been other pandemic-like games out there. Ones where you actually become the virus itself and try and destroy the world. But go back and watch my Lone Survivor video. Jasper Burns' Lone Survivor. I feel that really captures what I was feeling in the beginning stages of the pandemic and just the isolated nature of it. Buy yourself Lone Survivor if you want an old school Silent Hill experience, but also has that like overtures of a pandemic-like experience. Soundtrack's incredible. Artwork's incredible. Little on the short side, but it really captures that Silent Hill isolation, oppressive atmosphere, and the pandemic environment. And I know Jasper is making Super Lone Survivor right now. He's in the midst of it. And it will be the perfect time, I think, to capitalize. Like, if you're going to make a pandemic-like game, this is the time to do it. Mr. T, I've been working on a video review of PS1 Simple Series games. Would you do a cameo with a WarioWare-style Simple Series intro? Give you my intro, Mr. T? Give you my intro? Let you just take the reins of Simple Series from me? I'll think about it. No promises. I got so much shit I'm working on right now that I don't know if I don't want to flake on you. So let me know how close you are to being done. Hit me up on Twitter. I'll see what I can do. Ben Hillman says, there's something magical about putting esoteric trash games in a dedicated machine that exists just to play that thing. Yes. Fictive truism. The 5 or 6 year dev time is another reason why game developers play everything so safe. No risk, afraid of losing money. Lone Survivor is fantastic. Everyone should play it. Yeah, Lone Survivor is great. It's going to be coming out to Switch soonish, sometime this year. Great game. Anything else? Anything else? Any other business? I know there's one thing. If you are in this chat right now, it is unacceptable not to leave a thumb. Please leave a thumb. Leave a like. Leave a like. Let me clarify. Leave a like. For some reason, the cool streams are blowing up. I just put out like a new video. The cool streams are slowly climbing up. People are watching the archives. I see a lot of activity in the archives. People are showing up to cool streams while they're live. It's become a big part of Hikikomori Media, so I really appreciate you guys being here. All the people that I don't know. I think these are some of the great times. It's one of the ways I can keep in touch with you and also make rants that would not exist in the context of a video. So we have a fun time. Thank you so much for being here. Anything else? Oh yeah. I gotta finish this. Boss Black, recommend. Just don't let him fill your head full of bullshit, okay? Hikiko's here for you. Hikiko's the truth. I'm not going to lie to you. I got nothing to lose, everything to gain by telling you the truth. But thank you so much for being here. I'm going to stop the stream now. Take care. I love you. I love